Mic check. This is the Reverb Experiment Podcast, episode number 3.
3.
You are listening to G_Focus on the mic right now. To my left, introduce all of the hosts that we have on the episode. We have Steph.net.
What's good, y'all?
Steph.
To her left, we have Rajio, the artist/producer.
Rajio.
To his left, we have our special guest for this episode. We have Kevin Coleman. He is the owner/entrepreneur, owner of Urban Tech Media, owner of Swag Effects Photography and Design, and the owner of Swag at Night. Also has a bachelor's degree from the International Academy of Design and Technology. Go ahead and let's give him applause.
Single rated amigo.
I appreciate it.
He's available. He's out
sure
here
you
winning.
asked.
Black excellence. He's out here. He's
And
ready.
then we also have the most sought-after photographer in Northern California right now. We have Photo B behind the cameras.
Hey, what's poppin'?
The surgeon.
Yeah.
Never seen, always seeing.
Yes.
All right, man. Before we get into the pod, how's everybody doing?
I'm feeling good.
I'm feeling better.
You feeling better?
Yes.
From when?
Man.
When were you feeling bad?
Man, like last week, the week before that, all the bullshit.
Oh,
I'm
you talking
feeling a little
about
better.
the riots and the looting and whatnot?
all that.
Yeah.
All the negativity.
Well, I mean, how was everybody Juneteenth? I mean, yesterday was supposed to be
It was
a
monetized.
big celebration, for black people all over the world, especially here. So, anybody do anything special? Any barbecuing? No?
Oh, I was in Lake Merritt.
Okay.
Oh, it was fun.
Oakland was lit,
You
yeah.
know how great it is to be around your people?
Yeah.
Man.
It's great. See
I
some
saw
black
that.
people, so many beautiful black women.
He
It
got
was beautiful.
COVID-19. I know he do, bro.
I was trying not to go there.
They don't want to listen, bro.
Did you have a mask on?
No.
Why you look like that?
I didn't have a mask on.
No mask.
No.
Hey, but it did look lit. I
It
saw the
was.
clip,
It
so
was
I
lit.
wish I
It
could have
was
went
lit.
for real.
It was lit. I mean, like the way they parked, like you parking in the middle of the street, like it looked like Freaknik. Like I'm walking around, seeing people. And I'm like, the pictures talking about, this is your mama at Freaknik.
Oh, man.
This is your mama at Juneteenth.
See, we gotta have a raggedy one, bro. They gonna give us a holiday where they give us a holiday where we act
Hey,
all ratchet.
it's ours to do what we want with it.
That's just-
Period.
Exactly.
We didn't get
Right.
no
No
tacos. We didn't get no
Celebration.
alcohol. I got some emails in my email talking about here's a Juneteenth discount. I was like, already? We decided we was gonna do this last week. They geared up.
Yeah. I mean, there's, it's been around for a while. I think it's just starting to gain more.
Nah, bro.
My
My
It
dad
ain't
used to
like
take
this.
us to Juneteenth every year, so
We went to parades and marches on Juneteenth.
yeah, that's all. I mean,
Yeah, but that's all we ever do is parade and march.
All right. So before we get into
Tired of walking.
Hey, black people got strong legs, bro.
Facts.
So before we get into our topics and we get into the pod any further, we definitely wanted to make sure that we thanked all of our listeners. We want to thank everybody that's been listening via either YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcast, Stitcher, Google Podcast, whatever streaming service that you guys been in. We want to thank you guys, all the loyal listeners, the Reverb Nation. We want to thank you guys as well. We are encouraging everybody that if you do like the content, if you have been following us, or if you're new, to either like, comment, and subscribe, and make sure you hit the bell so that way when we do have a new episode that you guys are contacted. And also, if you are Apple Podcasts, make sure you subscribe. If you're on Spotify, please follow. And if you support us and what we're doing and the content and the message, please share our content and share it with your friends, family, etc. so that way we can continue growing. We wouldn't be where we're at if it wasn't for you guys, so we definitely want to appreciate all the support that we have. So, we want to thank you guys, right?
Yes.
We gotta give him applause. Gotta give him applause.
Yes.
Gotta give him applause.
Thank you.
All right, now right to it.
Thank you.
I know people listening, they want to get to the content, right?
Let's do it.
So new music dropped Friday.
Did you listen to any music?
Did I listen to
Yeah.
any new music?
Any of the new songs that came out?
I've been working, man.
Yeah, everybody been working, man. So
I've only even heard New Cole. That's it.
New Cole, that wasn't that was a little bit before then. On Friday we had Tiana Taylor,
That's hard.
we had Wale,
That's hard too.
we had Beyonce, Black Parade, and the City Girls. They all dropped on the same day, right?
One of these things is not like the other.
One of these things is not like the others.
Yeah. So any thoughts? Any records that you guys liked?
I haven't heard anything yet.
Okay.
That Tiana Taylor was fire. The whole thing.
Tiana Taylor's
Start to
definitely
finish.
fire.
I don't think I've ever heard a bad Tiana Taylor project.
I did hear that somebody said that she sampled too much, but
But
I
she's
haven't
in the
heard it.
camp of Ye. That's what they do. When-
I mean, the samples that I heard that I was reading about, I'm like, it sounded like it slapped.
It's slap, bro.
No, it was
But
dope.
if you have Kanye making your album, then what do you expect? You know
I don't
what
think Kanye touched this one.
Oh, but it's still the same concept. That's what they do over there.
It's
You know what I mean?
same pocket. Yeah.
They take the samples and they recreate them. And, I mean, it was fire.
Yeah. I think the one that stood out to me was the Black Parade track. I think that Beyonce has been like chasing a black anthem for the longest time,
Chasing.
and I think she finally found one.
You think
It's
she was
dope.
chasing it?
Yeah.
You think she
She
really
redid
wanted
the
to
Let
have-
It Go, right?
Yeah.
Did kind of flop, right? I
Does
think this
Beyonce
one.
I liked
have to
it.
chase
It was
a black anthem?
Yes. She does.
Beyonce is black culture. Why does she have to chase an anthem?
Yeah. I'll agree to disagree.
Chase is probably the wrong word to use.
I agree.
I think she's been kind of in that pocket for a while,
Because she's in her black mode.
and none of them really stuck.
you know?
Why don't we say she's been experimenting?
Experimenting.
with
There you go.
anthems.
Okay.
Experimenting.
Chasing
That's
is-
why
Maybe
he's-
that's a better
that's
She
why
word.
don't
he's
really
the
got to
business
chase
man.
nothing.
She don't got
That
to.
makes it
That's
seem kind of
bad.
thirsty.
You know what I mean?
She ain't got
Yeah.
to.
You did make
But she went, I just think,
I think you should delete that off your Facebook.
I'm not deleting anything. I'm keeping it. I'm standing by what I said. I said
said
what I
what?
said.
He
Okay,
put
Terry
Beyonce in a
Crews.
little
Said what I said.
Okay, Terry Crews.
I have spoken.
Beehive, don't be in my comments.
Oh.
So Rashard Brooks was murdered in Atlanta. Just going over stuff that happened between last time we podcast. He was murdered, and both the cops have been fired and charged. So, get that a little applause right there,
Yeah.
man.
Hey, before we go from the music, I don't know why the City Girls would put out an album right
We
now.
already left from music.
I know. It couldn't. I just.
He
It was
knows
bad
where it's
timing.
going.
I agree.
They
Bad
tried to
time.
drop it for like Juneteenth, some party shit, but
Oh, so that was the play.
that's just my excuse for them right now. That's my excuse.
That
But
would
that's
make
their
sense,
their
though.
arena though. So
Right.
I mean, they can't
Summer
put out
jam.
something that they're not.
I understand, but is it the right time for pee popping and D sucking? And is it the right
But
time?
look, speaking about stuff like that though, I mean, how many times have we seen like these raggedy flyers, and I call them raggedy because I ain't do them. So, how many times we seen these raggedy flyers on like MLK stuff like that? And,
Yeah.
and you got Malcolm X, Martin Luther King. They turning up, they blinged out, and it's like it's just not cool.
Yeah, facts.
It's raggedy. It's
Got Harriet
ratchet.
Tubman
It's-
throwing ass.
Right. It's like back that up. Right?
No, for real.
Right. But it's out there, and it's like.
That was this.
Why?
That's what you're saying.
Huh?
This
No,
was
but
City
it's the
Girls
same,
album.
same thing. It's like when you're saying bad timing, it's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
it really is because you're taking a serious subject
And
and
you
you're
just
you're
throw
making fun of it basically. You cracking jokes at it, and it's not funny.
Exactly. And in the timing, kind of like we were saying so Rashard Brooks was just murdered, right?
Yeah.
We still fighting for justice for George Floyd.
Right.
Still fighting for justice
Right.
for Breonna Taylor.
Right.
We're still, we having black men and teenagers getting hung across the nation.
Right.
Right.
It's
just-
a bad time for scamming
It's not a
songs.
good look to be talking
It's a
about
bad time
scamming,
for
yeah, and all
scamming
that other
and
stuff. so.
all. I mean, whatever.
Yeah. No,
To
I would
each
agree.
their own.
I would
But
agree.
still.
It's an audience for it, unfortunately.
There
so,
is. Brett Hankinson, one of the officers that was involved in the Breonna Taylor's death, will be fired supposedly
That's not enough.
according to the mayor, and hopefully we're praying for justice as well there. And we also have our prayers with D.L. Hughley. Last night he passed out while he was on stage during a show in Nashville, and we're just praying for his health and for his recovery. So that's all that's been going on as of late. We want to go ahead and make sure that, during the time that we just said that, black people all across the nation have been coming together, have been working together, have been thinking of different ways to start businesses, to advance us as a culture. So we wanted to make sure that on this episode that we highlighted entrepreneurship, right?
Mm-hmm.
And just ways that we can better not only further our culture but further us as a people, and we have to be responsible for our own families and our own community. So we wanted to definitely thank Kevin for being on the show today. He is a well-versed entrepreneur.
Yep.
He's been an entrepreneur ever since I met him, and that was 10
10 years
maybe
ago?
15, yeah.
Yeah.
So he's been an entrepreneur for a while. So again, we want to thank you for coming on the show, sir. We definitely appreciate you.
I'm glad to
He's
be
B.
here.
Simone's
man.
type, baby. B. Simone. B. Simone hit my man.
No 9 to 5.
ASAP. No 9 to 5. Entrepreneurial mindset. Jesus.
That's all we know.
So to start the interview, first question we wanted to ask you today, sir, is
Yes.
how long have you been an entrepreneur, and what led you down that path to becoming a business owner?
Man, I have a problem with authority. Just off top. And nah, it's fine. I've been fired from every job I've ever held, even the ones I tried to quit. They find a reason to fire me instead.
First.
You know, I got tired of people talking at me instead of talking to me. And you know, I'm a very respectable dude, but if I gotta get disrespectful, I can also disrespect you professionally to where you can't fire me for what I just said. So they look for other reasons to get rid of me, but I ain't want to be at them jobs anyway. So the other thing that sort of pushed me in this direction is I caught a crazy case when I was 21.
Okay.
You know, I got caught up in a accessory to a double homicide case.
Oh, shit.
Wow.
And
big
yeah,
time.
it was bad. You know what I mean? It hit real close to home because it dealt with some friends and family. And at the time, it was around the time as like the Lacey Peterson case stuff was going on. So it was a lot of politics involved at that time. So long story short, they gave me the double homicide charges because the person that did it was underage. By the time they decided to charge him as an adult, then the damage to me had already been done. I was receiving threats. My family was receiving threats. When we went to court, the whole courtroom was filled with just my family and the victims. Like, it was crazy. But so they ended up giving me accessory to a felony after the fact because really I wasn't around when it actually happened. I was there afterwards. Right place, wrong time. And
Trash.
yeah, you know what I mean? I mean, the system is crazy.
And when you go through stuff like that, I got arrested actually on kind of similar circumstances, right? So it kind of forced me to do what I do. But I guess did you experience them charging you on your record before?
I didn't have a record before that.
Right. I'm just saying,
Right.
did it show up as a charge or like a pending charge against you, and it made you ineligible for employment? Or-
So the felony. So they ended up sending me. I did a little bit of prison time, and which most people are shocked about because I don't look like the prison type.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the way I carry myself, you know, I don't get into trouble like that. So the jobs that I was qualified for, I could no longer get
Facts.
due to my felonies. So for me, it was a bad situation, but I believe in every bad situation, there's a fine line to step over to
Right.
turn it into something better
Right.
if you know how to.
Right.
You know,
Right,
and,
right.
and a lot of this is thought process. How do you turn something bad into something good?
Right.
Right. So what this did was it forced me to do what I needed to do anyway, which is just be my own man. I'm a self-taught graphic designer. I went back and got my degree because they said you either had to go to work or go to school while you're on parole.
Right.
So at the time, y'all remember the unemployment guide,
Yep.
Yeah.
right? At the time, there was no jobs in there. It was all school stuff, right?
That's cool.
That's it.
You don't really get to make any money.
So I came real close to becoming a drug and alcohol counselor just because I enjoy helping people. But when I went to the art school, it felt like a breath of fresh air. I felt like this is where I belong.
Nice.
You know, and because I was already doing my own thing, everything that I was learning at the school, I was
Just
just
worked.
applying
Right.
to what I was already currently doing.
Right. Right.
You know, and just been moving forward ever since. I try to
That's
preach
dope, bro.
entrepreneurism to other
That's
people
dope.
because we need to, even if we're working for somebody else, we still got to have more of our own.
That's true, man.
You know what I mean, and we don't have enough of that. And we got enough leaders, but everybody's not coming together because everybody still moves in different circles.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And we were just talking about that just a second ago about
Yeah.
the environment and how you get placed in certain things. I relate to I love stories like that because I relate to a story like that because I was. So I relate to stories like that because of I experienced the same thing, going to jail behind somebody else. You know what I mean? And I didn't go to prison, but they OR'd me.
Right.
And I fought this case for like 2 years, and even though I wasn't officially convicted of a crime, you know what I mean? Every time I applied for a job, I would get the job, and then the background check would come back as if I.
Because you were charged.
Yeah, I was charged. I was charged before I was actually convicted.
Right.
We need to have that's a whole nother podcast.
That's a whole nother podcast, but that's a deep conversation. Though,
Yeah.
just how the system sets up so that way.
Yeah.
You know.
I went from,
Well, usually most people want the system to set up to rehabilitate, but usually when you get out, you're worse than what you were before you came in.
Facts.
And then it makes it more difficult for you to stay on the straight and narrow because now all these opportunities have been taken away from you.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But so it was meant at one time to be able to help you transition. Was it Tracy? Tracy was intake. That was also where they supposed to teach you trades. It was a trade area. They shut all that stuff down. So once these facilities, schools work the same way. Once they start becoming more about business and less about the education, you'll start to see the decline.
Right.
The similarities between prison or jails and school is retention rate, right? They're only funded by the amount of people that are physically there. You know what I mean? But it really is. It's like I said, man. It's incredible to hear all your accomplishments because you're not supposed to be accomplished. You know what I'm saying?
I'm supposed to be a statistic
for sure. And that's how I feel with my own life. So I relate to that so much, bro. When they get you, you're supposed to be stuck. You're not supposed to be able to create wealth. And that's when we talk about systemic racism. So it's systemic racism turns into economic hardship, which becomes economic racism. Because it's a whole line of things that go into that. But it's just dope, bro. It's dope.
So the question at that point is, how do you beat the odds, right? How do you beat the odds of becoming a statistic? And in my opinion, the question to that is, how bad do you want it? You know what I mean, we already got the deck is stacked against us. So it's like, what type of person are you? What type of individual were you raised to be? You know, a lot of that also comes from parenting.
Yeah, right.
You know?
Right.
And I got kids. I'm teaching my kids to be entrepreneurs.
Right.
You know?
Right.
So they don't got to depend on nobody if they don't want to.
Right.
You get stuck and you're in a bad situation. How bad do you want to get out of that situation, and how hard are you willing to work for it?
Right.
I didn't want to go to prison. For me to have to do that, I was forced for somebody else did. You know what I mean? And we can leave that at that point, but it's like that just put more perspective in my life on what I needed to do for me. Because again, I got tired of getting fired. I was like, you know what, screw this. I started tapping in with other people in my circles that were doing entertainment stuff and business stuff, and I've been learning and self-teaching the whole time. I mean, I can't remember the last time I actually had a job for myself, and it's not easy. It's still scary,
right?
Because it's not. We don't, as entrepreneurs, we don't have a safety net. So when people look at what we do, and we make it look so easy, it only looks easy because this is part of our passion. This is where our drive stems from. So we're willing and okay with putting in the extra work. We dream about what we do for work. How are we gonna make that next move? Where's this next money coming from? What's gonna be the next big thing? And who can I get involved to make it even bigger? That's how my mind works.
It's that B. Simone mentality, boy.
It is.
You know what I mean?
That's what she talking about. You eligible.
All right, man. So I know a lot of what you're saying
hear me?
is oh yeah, we can definitely hear you. I know a lot of what you're saying is obviously getting in and making sure that, you know, half of that is
That's
you know
hard,
is
bro.
that passion and it's that drive. So once you decided on what you wanted to do, can you give us some insight on the process of starting your first business, and how difficult or easy was that process for you?
The first thing I did for business or as a business service was flyers. I used to draw when I was a little kid, starting off like Ninja Turtles, Sonic, Simpsons, all that stuff. And then I found a program back then, it was called Print Shop, which would teach you how to create business cards and all that, you know what I mean? I moved from Print Shop, saw Photoshop, and was like, okay, this the next level stuff. Let me start teaching myself that. So, like, I didn't go to get my degree until 2008. And even at that point, I was already well versed at what I do. And what I notice about the schools is they only teach you just enough.
Facts.
Just enough to put you through. And I would say 85% of the people that were going to the school are not doing what they went to school for.
That's in every
They were just looking for something to do. But again, this is still a business. This is debt you're incurring. This is money you got to put out there. So it's like, no matter what you want to do. You know what I mean? I was having this conversation with somebody the other day, actually quite a few people. I'm like, what do you want to do with your life?
Right.
You'd be surprised how many people have no answer. Right? Do they even ask kids in school anymore? What do you want to be when you grow up? Right?
It doesn't matter what they want to be, man. I think the way the school is set up now is to teach you to get a 9 to 5 so you can make the rich more rich.
Right.
Yeah.
And most people will fit into that category, right? So they say it's like the 1%. There's the 1% that what makes what's the 80-20 rule?
Yep. No, it's like 1% for like 92% of the income of the money made. It's something super ridiculous.
Right. Or 80% of people make 20% of the money.
20% of income.
20% of people make 80% of the money. Right? So the 80% of the people are the 9-to-5ers. You know, those are the ones that are comfortable with where they're at, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
They're worker bees, and I don't mean to say it like that, but it's what they are. But they're
Right.
okay with that.
Right.
Then you got other people that are willing to go against the grain, to push the line, to kick those doors down.
Right.
You know, and those are the entrepreneurs. Those are the people that are making ways for other people to walk in and to walk through. And that's very important for us. And that's why I try to teach that to other people and to preach that, and to, like, I only want my circle, my personal circle, to be those of like-minded individuals, those that are entrepreneurs and business owners. And the entrepreneur part is not necessarily the business owner, but it's the free business mind, meaning you're ready to go out and do your own thing. The business license and stuff, that's just paperwork. That's just whatever.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right,
It's
right.
helpful in certain situations, but where's your mind at? Do you want more for yourself? And are you going to build something for your children to be able to grow into?
Right.
Because they watch everything we do.
Okay. Excuse me. So, a lot of what you just kind of said just now just makes me think. So, you know, obviously, just like you said, with the paperwork, all that's just following the steps and getting everything legit. So, internally, because a lot of it is kind of fighting yourself, right? Fighting mentality, fighting the status quo, fighting.
You want to beat the odds is what it is. So
Right.
again, how bad do you want it? Because
Right.
it's not an easy task. People see us making money, like, oh man, put me on. What do I got to do? You know, I had a dude ask me one day. He's like, man, I thought we supposed to be partners. I was like, I would love to be partners. But how do you expect to make what I make if you don't put in? If you want to be 50-50, that means 50-50 the effort,
Facts.
50-50 the work,
Facts.
50-50 at the finances. Meet me halfway, because at that point, we're not splitting 50-50 of what's coming in. We're
Right.
building
Right.
on top of that. So it's like we take my 100 and your 100. You know what I mean? And we do more,
Right.
not split less.
That's how
Right.
we built this, right?
Yeah.
We went 4 ways, 25%. I mean, and every dime invested in here was equal shares, all the effort. I mean, we're all here. We're at all the meetings. It is what it is, man. People, I find that when you're already established, people want to jump on the boat and they want to take a ride.
Because they don't know how to establish themselves. But it's not a bad thing. We need worker bees. You know what I mean? We need people that just want to say, tell me what to do. Because we can't do everything ourselves.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
That's real.
There's so many things I'm doing. You just listed just a few of the things I do.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I could be so much further if I had more people like myself
Facts.
to do what I do instead of me doing everything. But then the problem is people are so used to the quality that I personally provide that if it's not me, they don't want to deal with it. So now I got to find a team to teach how to do what I do so I can delegate and then go get us some more money. Because everybody's got to eat, and there's enough money for everybody to eat. There's money in SAC. Entertainment may not be the best,
Right.
but there's money in SAC.
Right.
You just got to know how to go get it.
Right.
So, would you say not being able to duplicate yourself has hindered your forward thinking?
Oh yeah. No, not my thinking. Not my thinking.
Yeah, and when I say forward thinking, I mean as far as being able to leave your, not leave, but being able to let your business run itself and then go on to a bigger plan. So where do you want to be at, and how has that hindered your expanding your business and your, when I say forward thinking, obviously moving on to the next thing?
Right. So it's being able to put people in place. As I move up, somebody's got to be ready to move into my position. That would be your protege, so to speak. You know, I got a gentleman that works with me doing photography when we do the event stuff, and he's been branching off and doing his own thing as well, Mad Optics, and he works with me at Urban Tech Media, and he's basically he found his niche, he jumped on it, and he is creating his own way. When we go to the club, because he's bald too, so, no hair, don't care. You feel?
No hair, don't care.
But in the dark, you know what I'm saying? Everybody's looking for swag. Swag does the photos. Where's swag at? Where's swag at? A couple times if the ladies was drunk enough, they would think, I said, bro, just tell them you me. It's good. Tell them you me. It's all right. I said, but the more you come out here with me, they gonna stop asking for swag. They gonna be looking for you too.
Right.
You know what I mean? I'm not selfish.
Right.
Like I have no problem with sharing the spotlight.
It's a rare mentality, man, to have somebody who has something built that's not selfish. So here's my next question, because as a person who's built businesses, I'm a 9-to-5er, right? And so this is going to take us into a lot of other conversations, but I'm a 9-to-5er that kind of built my businesses.
You're still a 9-to-5er?
Yeah, bro.
Can I ask you one question before you continue?
Yeah.
Why are you still a 9-to-5er?
Why? Because I've sourced all that income to purchase all my real estate.
That is a good answer.
You know what I mean? I'm 4 homes in 34 years.
So with that, and I don't mean to cut you off, but the reason why that's a good thing in your where you stand, because the fact that you can do both, and that's even harder to be able to work your regular 9-to-5 and still be an entrepreneur, because as an entrepreneur there is no days off.
None.
You know what I mean?
None.
And if you really want it, you're going to take what you have in place, and he's continuing to build his foundation.
Well, that's each of us. Each of us have 9-to-5s, but I think where people miss is like you said. And I'm not saying we work harder than other people, but you do. We have the regular things, and then we still have to build this every day.
That's why you work harder.
And then she has her own. Steph.net has her own company she's building, and G Focus has his own, and Photo B has his own company, right? And so, my question was, how long do you work with someone, right? If you're trying to impart into someone what you do, because I wrote this on Facebook not too long ago, but I was like, how long do you wait before you cut someone off? If they come to you and they ask for help, right? Like what is your turnaround time on? Because I think I struggle with that myself. What's my turnaround time in saying, this relationship doesn't work, it's time to move on?
When it stops working.
Like immediately?
When it's so. For me, I'm still looking at the bigger picture. My bigger picture first.
Facts.
Before I look at somebody else's bigger picture. And my bigger picture takes more than just myself to stay alive. Because the things I try to create are bigger than me. So having the right group of people, the right team working with you, what I want is those that want it the same way that I want it. Because I found an idea that's going to work. I always do. Now, who wants to win with me? Right? Now, if you want to win on your own, I'm not mad at that. I've had a couple people that'll start with me and try to branch off and do their own thing.
So
right?
Try.
Nah,
I peeped that. I did peep that.
So, it 9 times out of 10 it doesn't work.
Right.
One, I put in the time.
Facts.
My name, Swag FX, Swag, call me Swaggy, depending on who you're talking to. Like, I've been doing it for a while.
Right.
So I may not be in everybody's face consistently, but my name is consistently out there moving. My reputation speaks for itself.
Right.
You know? And I think out of everybody I've worked with in the past, even for a short time, very few people have actually branched off to do their own thing and have been successful and continue to build. Photo B would be one of them. You know what I mean? I met him a very long time ago when I was working with an artist, Young Dizzy, which is around the time I had met you.
Oh yeah,
And-
me at the thing. Yeah.
Yeah, and my thing is putting people together.
Right.
Because it's just they're big projects. You know what I mean? And
That was on foreign, huh?
yeah. With Photo B, and I'm gonna be honest with you, I was a little irritated for a short period of time with you, but I'm gonna explain.
That's good. Okay.
Let's do it.
I'm gonna explain. So, I take pride in trying to put people on
Yeah.
because I want to see us all win.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's like if I'm building a house for us to live in, and you want to come help me build, or you just need a room, it's like, okay, everybody do their part.
Right.
And then with everybody I've dealt with, it's always been a money thing, right? People want to make more money, which is completely understandable. And again, from my personal perspective, is I'm putting in most of the work, so this is what I'm taking, but I make sure everybody makes money. I was told by somebody else, I will not speak any names, but somebody else had made a statement that you said, why should I help Swag make money when I should be making my own? Right? Do you remember? So, I got agitated because I'm like, what the hell? I'm just trying to put people on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Let's get it together. But I had to stop being mad because BJ's mentality is similar to my own.
Right.
Yeah.
And I can't be mad that you have what it takes to push yourself and your own brand when you're good at it.
Right. Right.
If you sucked, we'd all be mad at you.
Right.
If I sucked, I wouldn't be.
Right?
These are facts.
So-
If you sucked, you can't hang out with
Right.
us.
So for a minute, you know what I'm saying, I was agitated because you are very skilled at what you do.
Appreciate it.
You know what I mean? So I'll never hate on that. And I had to tell people when I would get into arguments about that, I'd be like, he's extremely talented.
Yeah.
He just irritated the hell out of me. But he's good at what he does. And at a time, I felt like your way of thinking at that moment compared to what I was thinking and why I was trying to get you involved. I was like, he's still a kid. He's still learning. But he's so damn talented.
Man, you get that excuse a lot, bro.
Yeah.
B-
What, I'm
Photo
talented?
B gets that. He's young. He's just a young
Oh,
man.
he's young?
Excuse
Oh,
so much. it's like a lifeline. For
Yeah.
him. Yeah.
But that's what it was. But you can only say that when, one, you're older,
Yeah.
and two, you think a little different because you've been through a little more.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But you're going through your own journey. You know what I'm saying? He's doing his own thing. And from where he is now, based on where he was, and I had a conversation with him in Walmart not too long ago, and it's like he likes what he does. We all like what we do, but we still have a preference, right? We have a preference on where we would want to be and how we want to move.
Right.
So I had to stop being mad at you because I was like, okay, now you go from working for me or with me to working for yourself. And I still say working with me because the more entrepreneurs we have that are solid in their position,
Right.
the better of a network we create
And it's
as
rare,
a
bro.
whole
We don't have a lot.
when we're trying to build.
Yeah.
Right? I'm working on a project right now. It's called the Urban Empire. And I think I was talking to you, DJ, about that. And it's something that's definitely needed so bad right now and wanted. And it's a minority business directory online.
Dope.
The way this will be set up
Is
is
it
it
your
will.
tech company?
Was that
This part of your tech company?
part of it?
Nice.
Again, I'm
Just
thinking
I
of the
wanna
bigger.
write it down.
I'm thinking of the bigger picture.
Yeah.
How do I make money in my sleep? I'm not a racist dude, but I will say, how do I make money like these white folks make money? These corporate white folks.
That's real.
You know what I mean?
Come on.
I'm trying to learn because as black folks, we are very smart. We are very capable, but we don't always have the confidence in ourselves that we need because we've been beat down for so long. And part of that beat down is ourselves. We're doing it to ourselves. It's like, okay, we have to start uplifting more. So somebody had told me somebody works for the state said there's over 8,000 black owned businesses here in Sacramento. I was like, you mean like 800? Nah, 8,000. I said, that's crazy. I said that tells me that, one, it's a problem because we don't know.
You don't even know.
We don't know it. And two, we don't know where to look.
Right.
Yeah.
Right? So a lot of small businesses that I talk to, they don't want to get into advertising and marketing because they're like, oh no, we do fine. We're just, word of mouth and we be good. The problem with word of mouth is it normally only goes as far as that person's circle.
Mm-hmm.
That's true.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And area, your environment.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
So there's stuff going on in the north that people in the south don't know about, and vice versa.
All the time, right?
Right? But when you look at a place like the mall,
Mm-hmm.
you can go to the mall. There's 100 stores in there. If there's something new, you can still go figure it out because you know
Yeah.
where to go.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to take that same concept. So with this, I want different cultures because if it's like that for the black community, what about these other minority communities? How many businesses do they have throughout the town that nobody knows about?
Man, that's crazy. 8,000 is
Right.
I
incredible.
could only name, you think about how many you can name, and then you say 8,000. Like,
Right.
where?
But can't name them, right? Can't name them. We don't know where to look. There are some black directories out there,
Mm-hmm.
but they're still so small,
They're not extensive.
right? And
yeah.
they're not marketed correctly. They look like government websites. Who wants to be on a government
Nobody.
website longer than they have to be?
That's true.
You know what I mean?
Blackbusiness.gov.
Presentation is
Right.
everything. We talk
It
about
is.
that all the time.
And being black, bro, that should be our number one thing is presentation, bro.
Man.
If we can't make it look good, nobody.
Yeah.
But we're full of too many shortcuts.
Yeah.
We cut too many corners. You know what I mean? For black business, we would love to do more black business, but we're cautious because we're trying to hustle each other. We're trying to talk each other down on our prices. We don't trust somebody because we feel like they just trying to get over. It's a number of different things that we've instilled into ourselves because we're taught to survive,
Right.
not to work together.
So on that point, because I wanted to let Photo B hop in because I know that's kind of what we were talking about just now as far as building, and obviously when you kind of have that Kobe Bryant Mamba mentality, I'm gonna go get it on my own. You know what I mean? So I wanted you to speak to that conversation that we had probably about 5 minutes ago about the exchange. that you guys-
to the mic, sir?
Oh, I can hear you.
Thank you.
But I wanted to give you the floor to respond to just that exchange, your mentality, and how maybe things are now. Because I think that's an important conversation to the thin line between building together and then branching out and building your own.
Yeah, no. When I was younger, there was a few people, including Swag, that I was working with, 2 other photographers that I was doing work with, and I started becoming the little bro. I was working with people I was looking up to and all that, and I just felt like I was putting in a lot of work, and it's like, get some bread. There was another photographer, not Swag, that I was doing work with, to where I would do something for an event, and he'll dip off, and then come back, and then still only give me like a little bit. So it was like kind of around that time where I was like, I'm getting the short end of the stick, but I'm still pushing. I'm pushing the most work. I'm putting on the work that I'm doing. I'm like, all right, let me just focus on doing what I gotta do.
Right.
It makes sense. You know what I mean? To to work with people when you gotta work with people. And then when it comes down to trying to do more work, I just want to make sure I do mine. And then definitely works when it comes to like getting more people involved, because that's how you build. It's a fact. That's how you build.
So my question is, and I mean everybody can hop in, Steph or whoever, and this is not an indictment on you because I totally get that, right? Because there's some people who will abuse that.
That's a disclaimer. Go ahead.
Yeah, they will abuse that while saying, "Oh, we're building together," but really you're building their empire.
Facts.
And then they don't give you anything. You know what
Facts.
I mean? But like what Swag is saying, he's trying to build so that way everybody can eat. So there's a difference. But why do we as black people, and obviously because we're all black here in business, do we treat black businesses as pyramid schemes? But with other races or other ethnicities, we don't do that.
You know what it is? It's a minimalistic thinking, right? It's hard for black people to envision anything that is not already established in totality. we don't like to go through the process of growing things, right? And I think that's why black businesses are so hard to find and so hard to work for. That's why, right? If it's easier to work for Popeyes and make minimum wage because Popeyes is established. You can see their commercials, you can see their, so instead of going in there and negotiating a wage like you could in a business partnership, you go in there and you're like, I'll take this $12 or $13 an hour that you're telling me. Bro, that's the whole thing about being an employee and being good at what you're supposed to do. Swag can tell you what it costs to work with him, right? And when I'm producing records, right, because I've done all the things I've done, I can tell you what it's going to cost you to work with me. And the same with Photo Beat. But I think for us, we are so superstitious about working with us at a lower level that we don't give each other enough credit, bro. So I think that black people generally fumble the ball when it's something that to you was not a big deal because you didn't put in the work that Swag put in or Photo Beat put in. So you don't value it the same. Right. As a franchise, like you said with the mall, you know, the mall's established. You never walk into Nike and you're like, yo, I don't want to pay $225 for these ones. You know, I think you should give them to me for $160. But it's already established in your head that, yo, this is the value of these shoes. As opposed to when it comes to black people, right? You're like, yo, I know you didn't really pay $225 for them. So why don't you?
It's like you want to get it for my price.
No,
it's not happening. You didn't put in the work.
You didn't put in the ground, the foundation. Right. That's the benefit of being an entrepreneur is finding out those paths to get things at a wholesale and then retailing it out. You know what I mean?
So do we think? And I'll let Steph answer this because I know she has been involved in a lot of black businesses and purchasing and marketing. Do we think that white supremacy plays a part in how we view our brothers and sisters that are in business? And when I ask that is, the reason why I ask that is because like what Rajo just said, if I view you, my sister, as in the same bucket I'm in, when you try to sell me something, I'm automatically thinking we're on the same level. You're trying to get over on me, and whatever you're trying to sell me, like what he said, I know don't cost that. So you're trying to profit off of me. In reverse, when we're thinking about somebody that like a white person or Jewish or whatever, they already have a business. We already value their business because of the way that subconsciously we see them. We see that they are superior or they're above us or they're not on the same level playing field.
Can I cut in real quick?
Perfect.
All right, so when you know somebody, when you feel connected to them, there's a thing that goes off in your head that feels like, you know, I probably don't have to pay the whole amount.
Right, it's a plug.
Because I know them, yeah. You know what I mean? And a lot of people, but that's the, I see you shaking your face, but,
Just the face. Just the face.
But it's like, you know, sometimes when I'm working on a project, if it's my project and it's a big project, there's people I will tell that no, I just work for the company. Why? Because they're looking to get the hookup, and not just the hookup, like the hookup.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
minimum.
Come
you
on,
take
man.
$20 on top of whatever you bought it for.
How far back we go, you know?
Right.
And it's like, bro, you don't do that to the white folks. You don't go to these corporate spots and like, you know, how about, check this out, right? When I'm in the club and we print pictures, I have a low overhead for printing photos, right? 4x6. I charge $5 for 4x6.
Right.
Other places, it's at least $10, right?
Bare minimum.
Minimum,
yeah.
Why are you asking me to get 2 for $5?
Right.
Go home.
Straight up. I mean, and it's offensive because, like you said, you've put in the time and put in the work. Bro, I think we talked about this, man, when people inbox me and they're like, yo, can you shoot me some production, right? I've had people pay me thousands of dollars for one record and then pay me again to track it out, right? I've been paid thousands of dollars for I'm not going to say small pieces of music, but the value at what other, like you said, of what other people see me, mainstream, or let's just take the Double XL. When I started doing the Double XL freshman music, right? They were offering me almost $10,000 for a 30-second clip, right? And I'm not saying everybody can afford that kind of money, right? But you have to understand that if I got here, then somebody values my.
There's a reason for it.
Well, there's an established value.
You know what I'm saying? So in my head, all the records I want to do are I want to see 10K
At that level or more. Yeah.
Right. So
Because you're further establishing your wealth.
Right, correct.
And how much you're actually worth. Excuse me,
Right.
not your wealth, but your worth. And now, there's also nothing wrong with bartering, right? We
Yeah.
barter certain things if there's a mutual understanding and a mutual benefit.
Yes.
And there are some people that's not a barter. You might get the homie hookup, but you're not getting the
No.
The-
I understand.
the-
The
you know what I
cost.
mean?
Like,
Yeah.
I
they
mean,
wanted that
majority of the
cost.
time, like you said, I'm already hooking you up.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Again, like you said, it was 10 and I'm doing it for 5. That's already a hookup. So you asking for a hookup on top of the hookup.
said
Like
the
my price is
judge.
already a good
it's a sign of disrespect.
Price,
And they
yeah.
don't see it that way.
yeah.
They don't, because everybody's just, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm trying to get the deal too.
Yeah.
If I can get it, and I'm good at getting the deal.
that's why you can sell for $5.
So I think what we need to know about black-owned businesses, especially like a lot of the business I purchase from, you know, more so like hair products, beauty products, stuff like that. When black people go into business, they don't have the same resources as you know other
That's
communities have. So you know, I know with the beauty community, like as far as like if you want to start a beauty supply store, all of the distributors are Asian, so they price gouge the black people. So they gonna give it to the hookup for their own people, but for us, they gonna sell that same thing they sold to them for $2 for $5 to you. So that means your price is gonna be higher than other people's prices. I feel like people don't look at that aspect of it, and when they ask, well, why the black place be charging too much? Because they don't have that same resource, they still have to make a profit.
When you don't understand the background, that's why you're the customer is like, oh no, this don't make any sense. You trying to get over. No, you don't understand what goes on behind the
Behind the
curtains.
scenes.
Facts.
Facts.
You know what I mean?
Facts.
Yes.
But that very reason right there, what you just stated, is more of a reason why in the black community we need to put ourselves, we need people in key places.
Right.
You know what I mean? So we can play on the same playing field as the people we competing with. You know what I mean? So instead of, you know what I'm saying, we need to be able, we want the hair at that deal. You know what I mean? Okay, we got to bypass them. We need to go to the supplier.
source.
Period.
Yeah.
You know, take out the middleman.
Yeah.
As a-
Or come together, and if they were willing to come down on the wholesale price, that maybe, hey, I need a second or third partner, and we could buy it more in bulk and work together. If we all own beauty supply stores, we all sell the same product. Why not us come together, buy it together, and we're gonna sell it anyway.
That's the
Right.
first
But we're
step.
saving the money as a. Oh, here we go. Hold on.
No,
Hold
no,
on.
no, no.
Hold on.
No, I agree with what you're
speak
saying. I'm saying the issue with that is that black people don't like working together because I feel like we feel like there's so little seats at the table that we grab it for scraps. So it's kind of like, dang, we feel like there's not enough seats at the table as is. So it's like if we all go in together, that's less that I'm getting.
You know why though? Because you only see a piece of the table.
Conditioning.
You
No,
don't-
it is
but
conditioning.
look-
I'm not saying it's right,
but
but
look,
that's what it is.
You only see a piece of the table. Again, there's money out there for everybody.
Bro,
Yeah.
it's facts.
Right? So if you open up your eyes, if you really expand your vision and see that if you put people in place, right? One of the biggest things we're afraid of is competition.
Yeah.
Why? Because there's somebody that's always better, right? So the competition begins to be part of our downfall, right? That's why we don't work together.
Yeah.
Right? But if you change how you look, I always say if you change your thought process, change your life, right? So you could be my competition, not a problem. But for me, it's a healthy competition,
Correct.
right? If I see you doing well, BJ, I look at your pictures, bro, ridiculous.
Appreciate
In a
it.
good way, ridiculous,
Appreciate it.
right?
You know who I used to look up to?
Look. But he was good. He's always been good. But when I see his work, it gives me ideas, right? So it's like, damn, that's dope. I need to try something like that. Damn, that's dope. I need to try something. But he just keeps doing dope shit. I need to try. Can I say shit?
Yeah.
You can say whatever you want to say.
Like, damn, nigga, get it together. Get your shit right.
Can I say shit?
Now he's got a conscience.
Right.
But my thing is, even if there is competition, like y'all do the same thing.
Okay, so-
but
But
he can't do what you do,
But
and
listen,
you can't do what he do.
but listen,
Period.
yes and no. Listen, so healthy competition. Seeing how dope you are makes me want to be doper than what I'm already doing. I taught a couple people how to do graphics, right? And I'll get phone calls. Man, I just seen what you just posted. It's dope. I said, I appreciate it. What you doing? I'm about to redo my flyer now.
That's how it's
I'm about to
supposed
redo it.
Step it up.
You know what I mean? But that's what it is. So if you change how you look at competition, we can all be great.
That's what it's supposed to be between us, though, right? But we, like I used the word condition earlier, but we are conditioned to compete against one another as if it's the last piece of chicken.
For the
That's
scratch.
Yes,
survival
that's
tactics.
what I
For the
meant.
scratch.
Yes.
For the last
For the
piece
scratch.
of chicken, right? And your idea when you said that the companies could come together, that's the very first thing I thought about. Before I even said you said it before I said it.
Yeah.
When she was talking, and I was like, all right, so how do we up our purchase so we can lower the bulk
Lower the
price?
bulk.
Because you have to understand business enough to understand that if we buy more, we can buy for less.
Better price.
Right?
Wholesale.
Right? So, but I think, like you talked about schooling earlier, and even though you were just talking about design, but it goes for all education, right? There's no class for business marketing until you get to college, right? There's no class for economics until you get to college. There's no class for like credit repair or how we are purposely left out of the loop so that we don't think like that. In other cultures, they are the legacy that you're talking about, it's passed down. Learning how to order in bulk, learning how to go to the source, learning how to grab the product, learning who to go to business. See, our generation right now are those of us that were born in the 80s and some of us that were born in the 70s. We are really the first
Who was
generation.
born in the 70s?
I don't know. Not anybody here.
Not anybody in the 70s.
I
was
but
curious.
I was
looking around.
I was I was trying to be inclusive.
He said, "I'm trying to be inclusive."
He didn't want to get cancer for ageism.
Like I was trying to be inclusive. But those of us who were born in those two generations, we are really the first people that are of this mind, right?
Yes.
We're the first people to talk about trauma on the level that we talk about. We're the first people to talk about business, credit. I mean, I think that's one of the cool things that I do a lot is I post credit repair tips. I'm posting stocks damn near every day.
Now look, that was about to lead to my next question. What is our responsibility, right? So because we're not taught these things, and for those of us that are learning on our own as we learn it, it's reach one, teach one. We got to put other people on. It is our responsibility
Yes.
to be the teachers.
Yeah.
It
Well, I
is.
mean, me and him had a conversation Thursday.
Yeah.
And we were just talking about some of his business ideas, and then the podcast question came up. He's like, "You guys doing podcasts? How you guys make money?" Normally, I'm not too sure. You have to, find out on your own. Google, look it up. I said, "This is how you make it." I said, because me withholding that information, does that benefit me?
No.
No,
It didn't take no money
because
out your pocket.
and it's just like, and it's not in comparison to what this conversation is, but there's a Walmart on almost every single corner. They sell the same exact product,
Different owners.
but it's the same exact store with the same exact product with the same exact placement, the same exact layout. Are they scared to open up multiple other
No.
more Walmarts because they think, oh, if I open up another Walmart down the street, that's going to cut sales from this other one? No, it's going to increase sales because more people are then going to keep coming to that store. Obviously, with photography, it's different, but I'm thinking opposite. If somebody sees you doing pictures and sees BJ doing pictures, then somebody that may not have wanted to get into modeling may now want to get into modeling, and they're gonna say, "Oh man, that picture modeling."
Don't y'all
Such
start.
a Such a loose term these
We're
days.
not gonna do that. But
I had to look at him, right?
But what I'm saying is that
Let me fix you.
there's enough.
That's an operating table.
There's
Over here,
enough.
catfish.
Doctor
there's enough-
paging Dr. Swag.
But to my point is that there's enough to go around, and there's always going to be somebody who wants their picture taken. For you to think that person is so dope that they're going to take every single client, to me is crazy. Because
Everybody's unique. I feel the same way about when I put out my hair videos. There's a million hair videos on the internet,
Right.
but there's only one me.
Only
So
one stepped
somebody's
up,
gonna want to see me do it.
Yes.
Somebody might prefer my videos, my editing style, the way that I explain. They might prefer that over the next person. Not to say I'm better than the next person, or the next person is better than me. You know, there's probably somebody that has way better quality than me, but somebody else still prefer.
Right. But
I like her personality. I like her.
How much confidence do you have in yourself is part of that question.
Yeah.
Right.
That's what it boils down to.
So I use I think it's an analogy. I use an analogy that sort of caters to that concept. So I'm a graphic designer, right? I try to design with a wow factor. You got to stand out, right? Everything is so. Everybody's doing everything right now, especially with YouTube and the social networking. You know what I'm saying? They've opened up the playing field for a lot of things. So everybody's now on the same playing field, right? So the question is still, how do you stand out? If your business card is on a coffee table with 100 other business cards, what's going to make them pick your card up?
Right.
Versus either they're going to pick it up and take it, or they're going to pick it up and put it back down. But what's going to make them just pick it up?
Right.
You have to stand out. It doesn't matter what everybody else is doing. Right? Because everybody's got their own audience.
Right.
But just like there's enough money for it to go around, there's enough audience to go around.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I think one of the other things with when we're talking about black business, I think we don't realize that support is free, right? You know, I was just thinking about this because Doey Rock passed, right? And that's like my big bro, right? And I was thinking about all the nice things people said about him, and all the things that I'm seeing now, right? And then I think about why did it take us so long to push that movement,
To recognize
when he was definitely the leader of what we were doing, right, with music and whatnot. And I just thought about like how it's the same thing in business. Like we don't, for some reason, we won't press share on our own people. We don't. We won't, and it's free.
envy.
Is that what it is?
I think so.
Well, it depends on who you are. So if you just a nobody, right, and you just got like hate in your system, that could just be who you are, right? There are also people that are nobodies, and when I say nobodies, meaning they're just not like major figures that everybody knows. There's some people out there that just, if it's good content, they'll share it regardless, right? Now you've also got other people that will be considered our competition, and so you don't want to like it or you don't want to share it because you feel like it's going to take away from you, even if you're not ready to do what that person is doing. You're like, I don't want to help them get any further when I need to help myself, right? But you can do both.
You can.
And if you want to be smart, connect.
Right.
Have to.
I think we talked about that, right? Well, you've had photographers that we've had some good laughs at, that had opportunities to work with you and didn't do right and came back. And I mean, we've had some pretty good laughs in business, man.
I'm sure.
But it's the same. I think that's all of this kind of goes back into, like I said, I think it's just conditioning, man. I can't be upset that anyone else is producing records and getting placements. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like I'm one of those guys that I've helped so many people do things, right? That now that it's hitting for me, I feel like I deserve it, right? And so there's a lot of people who are like, well, it's not your shine. But I think that's the same way with building any business. I think as we mature and as we really understand what it takes to really grow our businesses and grow our community, that ego shit gotta go, bro.
Yeah, definitely.
I feel like it's not always ego. I know in situations where I've been hesitant. No, but I'm just saying another aspect of when I've been hesitant to share is when I know that person doesn't necessarily have the best business practices. But in those situations, I reach out and let them know, like, you got to be consistent. You got to do this. You know what I mean? Because if you want somebody to put, you got to think, I got a reputation too. When I share something and I say something is legitimate, I want people to be able to come to you, get good business, and I know it's going to be what it should be. But I feel like if that's the reason, I feel like as black people, we need to be talking to each other. Because I know there was a black-owned nail salon that I went to her website, and it was just insane. I'm like, where do you even book at? everything was just ridiculous. I literally just sent her an email like, "Hey sis, I had like don't not share it and be like, oh, her stuff just looking raggedy and not share it for that reason,
but not enough
but
people,
not
enough
reach out."
people are doing that either, though.
Right.
Because again, there's that hate, and a lot of people don't even mean to be hateful,
Yeah.
right? It's just.
I was gonna say, how is that received? Like, how did she receive that?
I didn't get no response, but I mean, I feel like I did my part.
Well,
I just said, it could be. I couldn't figure out where to book at, and it was a mess. I'm not gonna lie, but I feel like if you don't say nothing, you're still a part of the problem.
The person that's not in the right state of mind, real quick, that's not in the right state of mind of receiving, when you send them that, you're not going to get the response
Yeah, 'cause
back.
no
you're a
matter
hater,
how you
'cause
say
you're a
it,
hater
that's
now.
true.
Right.
Right. That's the
Right.
problem
Yeah,
with us, though.
yeah,
We're
'cause
not
you're a
always
hater now.
hating.
Right. That's how it's perceived.
But that has nothing to do with you. It has to do with the lack of confidence in that individual, the lack of humbleness. You know what I'm saying? Because it's humbleness.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Propagandized is a word. So.
We make up words
We
here.
just
Right?
make a word.
We make a
Right.
word.
It's not a word. It's a
You
word now.
propagandize
Let me be
humbleness. real quick.
politically correct.
The reverb dictionary.
But if you can't be humble enough to say, you know what, that makes sense, let me thank you. You know what I mean? I appreciate
That's
that.
it, yeah.
Right? So, but that's like when you don't do your part to help somebody do better, right? If you're a rapper and you're my friend and you are completely garbage, completely, I'm sorry, I'm going to tell you. I get mad at other people because of the friends that they keep. Because your friends are not telling you the truth. I get upset when I see a chick in the club wearing something she know damn well she should not be wearing, and her friends all look better than her, and they let her come out the house like that. You need new friends.
Yeah.
We have to hold each other accountable.
They don't want it.
I feel like as black people, though, we
don't
need
want
to
accountability.
get more into a teachable mindset.
That and be honest.
They don't want it.
Yeah, and I think some people are, and I think it just depends on your mindset. Like I said, some people are teachable, some people are not. Some people take it offensive because it's like, you don't own any businesses, you haven't gotten to where I've
That's
gotten
true.
to. How can you tell me?
Hey.
I'm
how
a
to do
consumer,
this?
though.
But, and I think that's what they need to look at. If you're speaking from a consumer standpoint, as an owner, you have to hear, because that's your consumer. So, you know what I mean? So,
Man,
but
that rap thing, man, that really touched my soul.
I know it did, and that's going to go into a whole another conversation. So I want to get back on track, because there's a lot of people that we should be talking.
My bad. My
No, we all
bad.
good. So
Hey, I wouldn't even
Look,
book
you
a-
can invite me back.
wouldn't
I got
even-
more.
I wouldn't-
Yeah.
I wouldn't
I
even
got
book
more.
a session.
hey, we're episode 3 in, and we already got 2 friends of the show, so we all good. So speaking of being humble,
Oh man, I'm crying.
and then this is the last question that we have as far as business. 'Cause I know this could be a whole topic just for a whole show itself, right? Speaking of being humble, how has COVID-19 affected your business, and how have you adapted? Because I think that's a pretty important question, because I know it's affected everybody's business, right?
Yeah. So when it first hit, it knocked out about 90% of my income.
Yeesh.
Because I work with club stuff and small businesses. So any other circumstances short of a pandemic, I can survive. If the world is having, if the U.S. is just having a bad economy situation, I can still survive, because people still want to be entertained. Thank you, sir. People still want to be entertained. They still gotta go buy things. They go to stores and the restaurants and whatnot. You know, so I can always find a way to make money.
Right.
This is the first time I got scared. You know what I mean? Like scared. I'm like, I don't know what's gonna happen, because I'm seeing people losing their homes, losing their businesses. You know what I mean? The difference with me though is I know how to budget my money, right? Because I don't have a safety net, so I always keep money. I put stuff away in the savings for investing, for legal matters, whatever the case may be. You know, and in a time like this, I had to reduce the amount of movement I was doing. Because when you're in a hard position like this, you can't do everything you've been doing,
Right.
Because you're gonna waste away your bread,
Right. Right.
you know. So I've been lucky enough to hold things down and just stand still for a second. And during this time of having to stand still, I've been back at the drawing board. Okay, things are shifting. We're about to be in a somewhat new way of living because the COVID is not going to go anywhere.
Right.
Right now, they're just trying to figure out how to handle it.
Right.
I was told by somebody at my kid's school district that right now they're trying to figure out if this is going to be a seasonal issue. You know what I mean?
Like the flu.
Right. So, and this is not the first COVID virus that's been out there. This is just the most updated
Most
one.
recent, yeah.
And it's still
Coronavirus.
mutating.
Yeah.
It's still changing. COVID 19.5 is next. It's
Right.
it's still changing. You know? So in times like this, it's like, okay, as a business owner, you have to really just sit down, sit still for a second and think about what's your next move and how to just stay afloat, not to
Right.
do the most. Right now it's survival.
Right.
How do I just survive this pandemic until things start to open back up? You know, so I'm still doing graphics. I picked up a couple other things, you know what I mean,
Right,
that I started pushing and I'm building, and these are all things that are just adding to my resume. You know, so right now I'm just solidifying re-solidifying my foundation, so I can hit the ground running.
Right.
I had a friend that's an esthetician, and of course, you know, been closed down since the beginning, and she like curated these self-care at home boxes where basically you could buy sample products, and
Smart.
you know, she started that, and I'm like, this is something that you could keep doing after this. So it does make you brainstorm and actually expand, because I'm like, that's probably something she wasn't even thinking about doing, but this just forced her to really figure it out.
The COVID was not the worst thing to happen to us. Like, the future's coming regardless.
Yeah.
Right? A lot of things are being pushed to online anyway, streaming and so forth.
Yep.
Right? So, like, I got a client out in Silicon Valley that cuts hair at Google, black dude, one of the very few in there. You know what I mean? And he hits me up, was like, look, I got these videos. Can you turn these into like a little video flyer for me, an instructional? He's sending these videos to his high-end clients to learn how to do basic haircuts of their own at home until they're able to come back and see him again.
That's smart.
And he's making money off of that.
Genius.
You know what I mean? So when you look at we can be so small-minded because we're not taught to expand our horizon. We've got so much tunnel vision, not really paying attention to what are all the possibilities.
Yeah.
Right?
There you
So
go.
as you're saying, this new stuff you're being forced to do right now,
Yes.
you can still continue to do afterwards. If you cut hair, there's only so many heads you can cut, right? But you can also cut hair locally and teach people how to cut hair online on YouTube, show them how to do some dope stuff, and learn how to make extra money from there, because now you're not getting local money, you're getting international money,
Right.
whoever's paying attention.
Right.
So think smart, work smarter instead of harder. This is just this is forcing us to teach ourselves how to be better.
Yeah, this is a good time for
Better
that.
in business, yeah.
Yeah, this is a good time if this was a great time kind of for us with the podcast, and because we got to test the market a little bit differently when everybody's sitting at home, and we've watched other podcast shows come and go, and you know what I mean.
You know, I think a lot of presentation, I don't care what you're doing, presentation is key for everything.
That's true.
And if your stuff looks like garbage and this sounds like garbage, eventually
Preach.
that garbage is going to be taken out.
Come on now, preach.
Give him the bell. Give him the bell.
Preach.
So you can only be mad at yourself if you're no longer relevant, because you're not doing what it takes, and you may not know what it takes.
Right.
But
Yeah.
that means you got to research.
You
You
gotta
got to
do
reach out
research.
to somebody. You know
Put
what I'm
in
saying?
the time and the work,
You
like
got to
you said.
do it.
Yeah, it really was like you said, reinventing yourself. And I think for me, I was kind of fortunate because I have one of those careers that, you know, you can engineer from a building with a mask on, and you know, I can go still do.
There are certain jobs you
Yeah.
can have
Yeah,
and you can do from anywhere.
yeah,
They were session proof.
yeah. They'll have a bunch of us teleworking, like you know what I'm saying. But man, I don't know. I don't know, bro.
Well, I think I think in these times, your motivation will show. If you have the drive, if you have the mindset, just like what we've been saying, right? I know for me, as a father, I don't have a choice. It's either I get it or I don't. And if I don't, me and him was talking about this before. If I don't, it doesn't just affect me. It affects me, wife, children, and I can't, as a man, we talk about ego and pride. I pride myself on providing, whether it's a 9 to 5 or whether it's entrepreneurship. So whatever I'm doing, I have that drive that whatever it is you're going to put me in front of, I'm going to find a way to make money out of it because I have to provide. So I know with you, with your COVID, I mean, obviously you're smart enough to...
Not my COVID.
With your COVID situation as far as your business.
He like,
Excuse me,
don't put
you
that
didn't
on
create-
me.
Look,
you
I
didn't
took that
create-
real
no,
personal. He said, you with your COVID.
With your COVID...
Come on.
With your COVID situation,
Swaggy.
you were smart enough to have an emergency fund because obviously you have other people that are
People depend on
are
you.
depending on you,
Yeah.
right? So with that in mind, happy Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day to
Yeah,
everybody.
happy
By the time
Father's
people
Day.
hear
Photo,
this, right?
photo B, we waiting on you, sir.
Y'all can
Yeah,
wait.
be on
Waiting on you, sir.
Y'all can wait.
Now is the time.
Take
Y'all
your
can
time,
wait.
brother.
Thank you.
Slow strokes. Now's the time, sir.
Slow strokes. Pull-up game still strong.
Oh, man.
Strong.
And remember, he was talking about me in the beginning. My goodness.
I got no kids. It's okay.
Don't wait too long, man.
So
gonna
he's
get
not
that
an eligible
conversation.
bachelor.
So with obviously Father's Day coming up, and
Yes.
obviously you being an entrepreneur, I know main reason for your motivation is obviously your kids, right?
Now.
Now it is.
Now.
Okay. That's
Yeah.
fair. That's
Gotta-
honest, right?
I mean, so I've had this state of mind since I was young.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I actually used to do music back in like high school, and a little bit into my 20s, And it took me a second to realize is that like I'm good at a lot of stuff, but what really keeps me going is I love the spotlight. So it doesn't matter what I'm doing, as long as my name is out there. I'm
Okay.
feeling good about it.
Hey, bro,
I hear that.
motivation is motivation.
Motivation.
bro.
Wherever
You gotta find it
Hey,
somewhere, right?
I respect
He
it.
likes spotlight.
That's-
I like checks.
Hey, but if you
That's
stay
me,
consistent, the checks is coming.
Checks
true.
are coming if you're in the spotlight.
Consistency.
That's
You know
true.
what I mean? Plus, it's about being seen. Otherwise, it's like that's why marketing is so important. It's out of sight, out of mind.
That's true.
If they don't know you exist, you're not gonna get those extra customers.
That's true.
But being a father has changed my perspective and given me more reason. At first, I just want to be successful because I feel I'm destined for greatness. I deserve more, so I'm gonna go for more.
I love that.
You know what I mean? But now, even though that still rings true, my children give me reason to push even more on the days I don't feel like doing anything. You know what I mean? It's been a few times like I love what I do. I love what I do, and that's why I can keep pushing. But when your work, what you do for a living, starts to actually feel like work and less fun, then it beats you up a little bit at that point. And I've had times where I'm like, man, I just, I'm real close to just saying, let me just get a regular job and just chill out for a minute.
Right.
And then I go make like $1,000.
Right.
Never mind.
Change the
I'm just gonna stay where we at. You know what I mean? Stay where we
That's
at.
real.
Right.
But then I look at my kids. I have 4 kids. My oldest is 20. My second oldest just turned 18. Then I have 2 little ones that are turning this year are turning 8 and 10. So my oldest son just had a daughter. He's doing the family thing right now.
Man, Swag is a grandpa.
Hey,
That's crazy.
Hey, G-pop. G-pop.
Yeah, we gotta clap that up. We gotta clap that up.
But it's a dope feeling, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm a big family man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that helps keep me humble. That keeps me grounded. And so I teach. You know what I'm saying? I teach other people the same way I teach my kids. And that's not to be like in any form of disrespect. It's like when you don't know something, then somebody's got to teach you. So with my 18-year-old, he is so my 20-year-old's doing a family thing. My 18-year-old just moved out. he was ready at 18. Like, I've been prepping him for years. You know what I'm saying?
Because mine got to go too.
Right.
As soon as you...
But I told him, this is what I told him. I said, once you hit 18, because he was making money before 18. I said, once you hit 18, you got 6 months. Anybody that comes to live with me, you got 6 months to figure out your life. After that, you got to put in. Right? So, and I have my kids 50-50, and we'll get to that.
We'll get to that conversation.
So I got my kids 50-50. But with him, at 18, he the money he makes, he's a YouTuber. He put down 10 racks on his new Jeep. You know what I mean?
Nice, bro.
He makes enough money to live on his own right now.
Nice.
And he's doing this thing. He's got a couple friends that are also doing YouTube. They're doing a YouTube house. You know what I mean? So they just got a nice spot. Nice. And I made sure his credit was straight. Right? I've been teaching him for the past 2 years how to manage his money, how to keep your credit in order. He's been using my credit card, making payments on it. You know, showing them the process. What I also did, which some people know about, some people don't, but you can put your children on your credit lines, right? So I took 2 of my credit cards. One I've had for 3 years. The other one I've had for 4. I made him an authorized user. I didn't give him a card of his own. I just made him an authorized user. 2 weeks after he turned 18, he now has 2 credit lines, 3 and 4 years, no missed payments, and his credit was 748 at 18.
We just talked about this, right? On the
Yep.
last show.
Talked about it last show.
You know what I mean? It's important to teach them how to have it and maintain it, and then teach it to somebody else.
Yep.
Yes.
Those are the lessons you don't get in high school.
Right.
At all.
Right.
You don't.
So a lot of parents forget we are still teachers. They look to us, right? And as the adults we are, there are a lot of us from this age range, from the 80s, that and other 70s, whose credit is shit
But they don't know any better.
because they were never taught how to do it.
Correct.
My dad told me, don't get a credit card.
Cash is king.
Cash.
The
I
whole
cashed.
time we
I didn't get my first credit card until I was 33.
See.
You know what I mean? And I did other little things, but I mainly paid everything in cash. But my credit's always been good. It's important to keep it that way. My dad laughed at me. He was like, "You actually listened?" I was like, "You said it puts people in debt, so I wasn't trying to deal with it."
Right.
But now that I have a better understanding, I'm teaching my son and my daughter and my kids a little differently.
Right.
You know, so they're actually just better prepared. There's so many kids right now that are not prepared when they head out into the real world. That's why they still living at home till they 23, 24, 27.
Yep.
27.
How do you, BJ? BJ, you don't. He doesn't live at home, but I was just saying.
Nah, I don't.
I was like, dang, he put him on blast.
No, I wouldn't say. Because I threw that higher number out there, and I was like, how old was he again? I'm not talking about you.
Yeah,
But there are people.
he did say 27.
27.
Hella emphasis on it.
Right? I want to make sure I was being clear. I wasn't talking about
that's
BJ.
true, man. Like this younger
29
generation,
anyway.
26, 27, man. I couldn't imagine being at home at 20, not doing what I wanted. Crazy.
But some people are comfortable with that.
Nah, man.
And
Well, what
that's-
about
and that's sad.
group economics though? If you know,
Group economics, you should still be out by 25.
You
Like,
know
should
what?
be out or
25.
should I mean? Because some people I know people that do have big homes and they all live with their family together.
Yeah. I think it just depends on the end goal. If you're there without a plan,
It's a problem.
then it's a problem. But if you're there, and this is again this could be a whole new show on just group economics, family economics. But for my daughter, what I told her was the plan for her was, if you're gonna go to college, stay home. Stay home. You can work on the side, focus on your school. You pay me rent, whether it be $200, $300. I'll save that money up, put it in an account. When you're done with college, you will already have a down payment for a house.
And even that's teaching.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then at 22, 23, whenever you graduate college, buy your house. At 20, if you buy a house at 23, 24, you're set.
I did.
Because not only, because most people, they'll go in a dorm
Yep.
or they'll go rent at a house outside the
Giving that
college.
money away.
You're paying somebody that you don't even know rent.
Yep.
And most time than not, you take a couple extra years because you're partying, you're doing all this crazy stuff, right? So for her staying at home, you ain't got to worry about food, you ain't got to worry about nothing. Just give me the $300, $400 in rent. I'll put it to the side. $400 times 12, right? That's $4,800. $4,800, $5,000 times 4.
20 grand.
20 grand. Down payment for a house. And you're not in debt because you're not staying on campus or you're not, doing all this other stuff. So I'm putting you ahead of the game. Yeah. But again, maybe she wants to do something different. I'm already just instilling like, hey, this is what as a father, what I would like to see. But if you want to do something different, let's sit down and let's talk about it.
If your relationship is solid though, like it is with your daughter, right? She's gonna take sound advice because she gets to see the fruits of success.
Well, and it's the goal. What is the end? Because it's not like I want you to stay home because I want to be overprotective. No. I want you to stay home so that way you're not in debt after you're out of college. You know what I mean?
That's amazing. And then I think about the people that don't have that or didn't have that. Because I know for me, I'm not saying that my parents did a great job, but they can only teach you what they know. You know what I'm saying? So as somebody that had to learn a lot of stuff on my own, get out the kind of mindsets of my family and generations of people doing the same thing, it's kind of like, dang, I feel so late to the game. You know what I mean? And then everybody's like, well, yeah, at this point, but I'm 31.
But so what?
I'm 31. You know what I'm saying? So when people are like, why you ain't got no kids? I just now learned a lot of things that I needed to learn about my finances.
Because now is the time to have your children.
Well, yeah, definitely. But that's what I'm saying. When you're set up like that, you feel what I'm saying? You could be on a timeline. You know what I'm saying? Like that. But I'm not going to just bypass doing these things and solidifying these things to be like.
But your success story, nonetheless, regardless of how long it took you, right? How many 31-year-olds do you know flipping a home?
Well, but people do make you feel bad about that. You know what I'm saying? Because everybody ain't have access to the same information.
Why do they make you feel bad?
They don't have what you have. That's why you have to.
Well, I mean, a lot of the people.
A lot of people have to find an equalizer in your life, right, to make them feel comfortable around being around you. Me, I had a cheat code. I mean, my dad was a real estate broker. My dad has a crazy story, man. He went from crackhead, went to rehab for a couple years, came back, and he was a real estate broker. Craziest shit I ever seen in my life. Thank God.
But it's inspirational.
No, it is. So for me, because I grew up extremely poor, right, and my junior year and my senior year in high school, I got to see what money, and it wasn't real money, but my dad made a couple $1 million between, junior year and senior year for me.
You got to see how real money moves.
I got to see how money worked, right? So for me, my first home purchase was at 19, right? And I bought a house for $500,000 at 19. But I was already hip to the real estate game. I was around real estate companies, loan officers, brokers, and my dad had 200, 300 employees, right? So for me, even though my pop didn't have any money to give me, he gave me all the steps to find a way to make that money.
Which is more valuable.
So he taught me how to fish instead of, you know what I mean? So we had a relationship set up to where I was doing all the real estate for him. And then he taught me, he sat me with people to do loans. And then he opened up a black-owned real estate school.
Expose it to you.
Right. So I was exposed, even though I felt like, for me, it was late because I didn't get to enjoy any of the benefits that my younger brothers and sisters did growing up, right? Because I moved out as soon as I could. Right. So they got the benefits of staying home and seeing dad function and really watching that thing grow.
Right.
But for me, all I knew from junior year was you need to buy a home, and then you need to buy another one, and then you need to buy another one, and you need to buy another one. You know what I mean? So you're right. It really does come from where I learned how to do finances. I learned a lot of what not to do as a person.
Right, but I had to unlearn a lot of stuff, and I'm not saying that negatively on my parents because they did what they had to do, but that's why I feel like platforms like this are important to me.
Absolutely.
And me sharing information that I learned late in life. You know what I mean? I feel like it's very important because we don't all have that.
Listen, let me just clarify something for you. Better to be late than not in the game at all.
Oh yeah, of course.
So don't feel any particular way like that. Just
I don't.
Embrace what you got.
I just wish more people were open to knowing that
they have to be taught that.
Come on.
You literally have to be taught. It's just like racism, right? We're dealing with a lot of racism these days. And there are also people that are very racist because they were taught that, even when they know it's wrong. And there are some people that were taught that, and that's just how they are, and they still try to be better. right? So something or somebody is teaching them to be open, even though it's hard to shake their ways. But
Yes.
when you want better, you just got to take the journey.
Well, we're taught to look for certain things, right?
Mm-hmm.
If we could be looking at the same exact storyline, right? And from our perspective is it's racism, police brutality. And from their storyline is he probably did something wrong, he's getting what he deserved.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? We're
All
watching
perspective.
this. Yeah, it's a different perspective. And so I think the real sign of maturity is what's made us all good business owners is being able to remove ourselves from whatever's happening and think outside of the box to see the whole picture.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
So speaking about bestowing stuff, and that's an excellent point. What was the most important lesson that you believe you've taught to your children?
For me, it's respect and responsibility. I talk to my children a lot. They're doing good. I talk to them. I explain to them. They're doing bad. Talk to them. I explain to them. You know, because understanding is key in order to do better. And when you have understanding, then you can remind yourself.
Thanks.
You know, so for me, it's like I want all my children to be self-sufficient. I say all, like I got 12. So
You might.
Right.
You might be working on it.
nah.
G.
you
Simone listening to the podcast right now,
just-
like
She
this.
wants you. She ready. She like.
But it's like I'm proud of my children. You know what I mean? Because I look at other people's kids, and my kids could be so much worse when you look by comparison.
Comparative method.
You know what I mean? And but I tell them that too, and I tell some of my oldest son, no, not my oldest, but my second. He's the YouTuber. He's got like 425,000 subscribers, right? He's making money. He travels. SneakerCon flies him and a friend out, any event he wants, in or out of the country. You know what I mean? Like he's doing well.
Nice.
And I'm trying to teach my other two to follow in similar footsteps because everybody's creative,
Right.
you know? But if we don't guide them,
Facts.
you know what I mean? But then we teach them to do the same thing. So I tell them, I say, look at your friends. Hell, look at their dads, right? You got a good deal on your hands.
Facts.
I'm a dope dad. I don't care what anybody says. Right?
Yeah.
Look. I
Right.
don't look old, rugged.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I don't
Down,
like
right.
yeah. I don't. You know what I mean? And it's like, and I stay busy. I stay working. My
Yeah.
kids have always seen me working. My daughter, Dad, teach me how to do flyers so I can make money with you. You know what I'm saying?
Don't we have the same conversations with our kids?
More is taught than it is taught.
I mean, I same thing. I'm like,
Yeah.
man, you guys got pool tables and air hockey tables, swimming pools. They have none of that growing up.
Right.
We need
but
to figure
but
out
it's
how to
like,
maintain that.
but we have to teach them how to maintain it.
Yeah.
It's a lifestyle, so to speak. But the lifestyle shouldn't be about the things. It should be about how you move throughout your journey in life. There's certain things you got to be aware of. There are certain things that you cannot help. Certain bad things are just gonna happen. So how do you deal with it?
What did Jay
Right.
say?
Huh?
Show them how to move in a room full of vultures.
Yep.
It's real.
Industry shady and needs to be taken over.
So many parents are not teaching their kids how to survive the real world.
Facts.
They're so busy trying to protect them
Protect
from
them.
it. But it's like, no, you got to let them experience. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Within reason.
Yeah.
You still set the premises.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But let them
You gotta
experience
make
it.
mistakes.
You know what I
So
mean?
they can rebound from it.
My daughter, she's half black, half white. And with all this racial stuff going on, she has to see, and we watch a lot of shows like Chicago PD, Criminal Minds, stuff like that, and like watching things that really happen. You know what I'm saying? My older son, he's black and whatever his mom is, she's mixed with something else.
You haven't figured it out yet?
So for him,
Hey, bro, that's a real situation.
it is
Sometimes you just
sometimes.
don't know, bro.
Sometimes you just don't know. You know
Look
what
at
I'm
what am I? Mine?
Black.
The mixed bag.
right? Mix with
Photography
something.
issues.
Black,
Ask
black
your
and
mom.
something
I'm
else,
black.
right?
Ask your mom.
Right.
Ask your mom.
I know this
So,
side.
but I remember one day he was him and his friends was at the fair, and they were like 5 of them. They're approached by the cops. Now he's outspoken like I am, you know what I mean? And I've had to learn when to be outspoken, because there was a period of time where I ain't give a shit about nothing. Nigga, find me. Look, I ain't hard to get to, you know what I mean? But because I fear for his life in a time where I know he can be 100% right and still lose.
Yes.
That's bars.
Oof.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I had to add that.
So now we gotta teach him how to move, how to maneuver.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I told him you can be 100% right, but you still gotta watch how you talk to that cop.
Man.
I said because they feel scared because they don't know what's gonna happen.
Again, it's the ability to see the whole picture.
Right?
You know what I mean? So you can teach him that. You know what I'm saying? You could give him... My buddy Kwame is going to come up here. His son's 12.
Mm-hmm.
Kwame's from Nigeria. Okay? And I was talking to you the other day, and I was telling you that they were building all these apartment complexes and these homes in Nigeria. They all live here. Man, his son gets to go to Africa, to Nigeria, every year.
An experience. That's an experience.
But that's normal life to him.
Exposure. Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So he's going to grow up, and he's going to be like, yo, I'm just supposed to do stuff like this.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's crazy, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's the same thing with like when you read, right? So if you're not able to travel or see the world, if you read, it expands your mind, right? It opens up other possibilities because if you stay in your bubble, like there's people I know that stayed in Sacramento their whole entire life, and they're like, that's all you know because that's all you've seen.
Yeah.
And you haven't opened up your mind to other possibilities. I think that's what we're saying. Like as a
Yeah.
parent, I think it's your responsibility to open up your child's mind to other possibilities because if you don't, then they're gonna follow. Like I said, more is caught than it is taught. So if you're not, opening up to entrepreneurship, if you're not opening up to ownership, you're not opening up to other avenues to making money, trade school. Like it's not just if you don't go to college, then I'm gonna disown you. No, you need to do something, but there's multiple different avenues to get it. I'm gonna give you every single opportunity, and you pick whatever's best for you, and whatever you do, I'll support you. And I think a lot of black parents, not even black parents, parents in general, from not our generation, previous generation, us, have that mentality. You're doing this.
Yep.
You're going to school. You're doing this. And it's like, did you even ask what I wanted to do? Did you look at my talents? Did you look at my desires?
And I'm glad you brought that up because I was going to say one of the things that not enough parents are doing is paying attention.
Yeah.
We have to pay attention to our children and see what it is that they're into. What do they like? What do they gravitate towards? Right? When my 18-year-old was doing, like I was trying to teach him. He's a teenager, man. You need to learn these graphics. You need to learn these photos. I'm going to show you how to make some money. Right? He was hearing me, but he wasn't hearing me. He wasn't,
right.
You know what I mean? And then for a while, I think he was 16. He was always in a room, sitting up in the dark, watching YouTube. I'm like, dude, what are you doing? Get up and do something with yourself. Call a friend, play a video game, go outside, do something. You know what I'm saying? Do something. And I'm just watching my YouTube, Dad. I'm just watching my YouTube. Like, you get on my nerves with that. You know what I mean? And I kept getting on him, and I wasn't paying attention. I couldn't see exactly what he was doing, but I wasn't paying attention. He had to tell me what he was doing. And what he was doing was he was learning. He was teaching himself. He was researching everything his favorite YouTubers were doing, right? And when I look at my son now, his work ethic is exactly like mine. We are up late. We don't go to sleep till 3, 4 in the morning. We are on the computer. We are working. We are learning. We are grinding, and that is what he does. And once I seen what he was doing, I took a step back, and I started paying attention because now he's putting me up on things. Because right now, this is their generational thing. YouTube is their generation. We didn't have this.
Facts.
We didn't have the amount of ways to make money like they doing right now. You know what I mean? And once he figured out what he wanted to do, I made sure he had all the programs he needed, Photoshop, Final Cut, you know what I mean? All the good, here's the stuff. Showed him the basics so he can learn how to, and he just started branching out from there. So the stuff I was trying to teach him earlier on, he learned to do, but it took him finding what he really wanted to do first.
To find a place for it.
And then apply it.
Facts.
You know what I mean?
BJ. Yeah, I want to
Yes, me.
photo B. Excuse me.
Yeah, that's me.
I know. Did your parents ask you anytime growing up what were your passions, and did they back you up on it?
For the most part, yeah. Even when I was like in middle school, I pretty much told my dad that I want to start a business.
William.
Stop it.
Yeah, we ain't doing that.
Stop it.
We definitely ain't doing that.
We ain't doing that. No.
No, seriously.
No.
I think
Anyway.
it's a serious
Big
question.
Willie
though.
style.
So you're go ahead.
So yeah. Like in middle school, I pretty much already like I was instilled that I wanted to start a business, right? Whether it was something, right? Never knew exactly what it was. But when I started doing like theater, my dad was on me about doing that. He wanted me. They backed me up for the most part. Like everything that I wanted to do, they were good with as long as I was serious and I was actually putting in the work to do.
They back you up.
Exactly.
Rare, very rare.
That wasn't
You
mine.
just gotta expose. I feel like you have to expose your kids to different things. I feel like as Black people, I love us, but a lot of things that we expose our kids to early is usually sports. A lot of the time, which can definitely be something that is helpful, but I also feel like we need to expose them to, like my niece. We took her to a science camp. She's been into that arena the rest of her life because she really liked it. But if you don't even expose them to those different types of things, they can't even find what they like because you're only exposing them to the things that you like. I like to do music. I like to do graphics. I like to, you know what I mean? So you're exposing them to those things, but they can't find a niche if they're not exposed to other
Multiple
stuff too.
different things.
You know what I mean? They're going to gravitate to what you put in front of them, but you have to put a variety of stuff in front of them. That's how I feel.
Or match a passion to a career.
Right.
Like if you see
Yeah.
them, like with his son, if he's watching YouTube all the time, hey, what about YouTube do you like? What gravitates you to watching this so much? Oh,
Yeah.
because I like seeing people film their lives. Okay, well, hey, do you want to do that? Do you want, you know what I mean? I think we didn't get those questions asked for us.
Hell
So majority of the time, we don't even think like that to ask. But now that, with the internet and all the conversations we're having, it opens up as a parent's mind to me. I ask my daughter all the time, hey, do you want to do this? I put her in soccer. She didn't like soccer. Took her out.
Yes.
Hey, do you want to do this? Yeah, let me try it out. She tried out piano. I didn't like piano. Okay, take her out. And it's not. Sometimes you gotta keep them in. Sometimes you gotta keep them in. But I think it's okay to let them try different things until something sticks. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And again,
you finish it out.
Yeah, but
You're gonna finish.
My-
You started soccer. You're gonna finish out the season, but you ain't gotta play.
My parents didn't. My dad was like, when I started making beats, bro, my dad was like, cut that off. That's not even good. You know what I mean?
But that's the thing. So again, pay attention to what your children are into.
Right? Yeah.
Because they'll show you.
Yeah.
They'll tell you in different ways,
Totally
right?
different ways,
So
yeah.
so if we look back, like, and if everybody can answer this question, what did you, when you were small, what did you want to be when you grew up?
I wanted to be an astronaut.
Astronaut, sir.
Something in education, pastor, teacher, professor, just to help people.
Educator.
This nigga would want to be exactly what he is.
I'm not.
He
But
said, "I
okay.
made it."
I didn't say podcaster.
Right. Educator still.
I wanted to I wanted to be an author. I used to write and illustrate books myself when I was a kid. So that's what I always wanted to be.
Raj,
I just wanted to make beats
as a kid.
as a kid, bro.
Yeah.
Because I grew up around like,
Look at you now.
yeah, right. My cousins, my cousins and stuff. They were playing. Even my dad, they were playing bass for like Janet Jackson and Michael Jackson. So that's all I knew. All I knew was church and music.
Yep.
So that's it.
I wanted to be a getaway driver.
This thing.
Okay.
Right. Right. Sounds weird, right?
Okay.
Look.
I want to drive fast.
I
He
said,
said, I want to drive fast.
Baby driver.
Look. I'm like, how we get this money? Right.
Baby driver.
I've always been really big into movies, so I watch a lot of, you know what I'm saying, a lot of heists, a lot of action
That
stuff.
makes sense.
And the getaway driver looks like he's having the most fun because he's getting away from the cops. I'm like,
Right.
man, let's get up.
Right.
You know what I mean? And obviously, I didn't take
Yeah.
that route.
Or you wouldn't be here.
You know,
He tried. He went to jail.
right?
He's like, no, I am here. I just
Look.
drove away.
Look, but it's like we all still at least had an idea, right? And even if it's not the exact thing, there's something about that idea that we wanted.
Right.
There was something we were attracted to.
Right. That's
Which opens up in some way in things that we do today.
true. Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
What?
No, that's
man?
facts.
What?
That's facts.
Speak, Raj.
Everything. He wanted to be a getaway driver. My brother wanted to be a bounty hunter so bad.
Hey, because as a child you're so impressionable. If things look cool to you, then you gravitate to
Yo,
it. I
but
think
look,
that's just
my
what it is.
brother is Green Beret, and he's a ranger. So
There you go. So it was in that realm.
He's in the realm.
He's still
He's
he
in the
was
realm.
like, bro, we could, we can do when we get big, man. We can arrest bad guys without being police. Actually, that doesn't sound like a bad route.
Sound like that. Yeah, that's true. Hey,
He knew, bro. He
there
knew.
you go. So, man, this is a really good interview with a lot of different components. The game we play with every guest is One's Gotta Go.
Mm-hmm.
So we know you're in media.
Mm-hmm.
You do a lot of film, obviously do video.
Mhm.
So Steph has a One's Gotta Go for you, so we can kind of turn this conversation into a little bit more of a cheery, you know what I mean?
A
Get
light
The
energy
lighter
up.
side of things.
Let's go a little bit lighter.
The light
Little
skin
bit
side
lighter.
of things.
The
what?
light skin side
The
of
light
things.
skin side of things.
We said we wasn't doing that.
Look, man, I'm,
All right, so
My
for
bad.
One Gotta Go this week, we did actors.
Mm-hmm.
So One Gotta Go out of Eddie Murphy,
Mm-hmm.
Will Smith,
Mm-hmm.
Martin,
Mm-hmm.
or Jamie Foxx.
And hold on.
Oh, and all their work.
Okay, I need
All right.
clarification.
Them and all of their work, movies, shows, stand-ups, whatever.
Big Willie, Eddie, Jamie, and
Martin Lawrence.
Martin.
Martin Lawrence.
Will, Eddie.
What I need to do is get like the Jeopardy music. You know,
Right, I was a
something
little
like that.
countdown.
What you think, Photo B?
Martin.
It's
Martin.
Out of everybody,
That
You
guy.
already-
everybody?
You giving
Yeah.
up the show?
I'm giving up Martin.
You give up the whole Martin.
I'm giving up Martin.
Okay.
Simple.
I can see why
I'm
you
giving
said
him
that.
He's not even changing his mind.
I can see
Didn't
why
even
he
think
said
about
it.
it.
I can see why.
If
he
we were
said
talking about acting ability, okay, but
He
the,
said
all the
he-
work,
Hey,
it. I can see why he said that though.
I
Hey.
can't give up Martin.
I'm giving up
That's
Martin.
my show.
I don't know. I kind of grew up on Martin. I kind of grew up on all of them, man. I think that's a stupid question.
That's the second time we heard that.
Last time it was just a stupid question. It's not fair.
We can't make it easy.
Yeah, it can't be easy.
It can't be easy.
Yeah, that's
What makes it
One
controversial.
gotta go.
what are the names again?
Eddie Murphy,
Eddie,
Will Smith,
Will,
Martin,
Martin.
Jamie Foxx.
You almost got to find something bad that they did that you don't like.
I have. Yeah,
That's what you did?
I had to. You have to.
You know what? Then,
That what other way can you answer?
I'm gonna
that
go
question?
first because y'all acting scared.
No, he already went. BJ
Oh,
already
you
went.
said.
I
Oh,
went
okay.
first.
I was. Oh, yeah.
Hold on,
You
hold
said
on.
Martin. His
But
answer
hold on.
don't count.
But
That's
hold
why.
on. No, hold on.
excuse me?
Hold on. Why? Why
Yeah.
Martin?
Why
Because I
Martin?
can't give up anybody else.
Yeah, that's a valid question. I mean, valid answer. Excuse
I
me.
can't. I've been looking up to Will as a kid.
Yeah.
You feel me? You know what I'm saying? I've been looking, and Eddie, come on, like Delirious and Raw,
Classics.
like alone,
Mm.
those two, and then Jamie
Coming to
Foxx just
America,
doing everything
bro.
that he's doing.
Yeah.
I can let Martin go.
I
I understand.
I can let Martin go.
I understand.
have to agree with him. That was my first mind. It hurts my feelings.
I understand.
But
Don't give us a butt.
I mean,
just say what you say.
throw it
Just-
out there.
I said
Stand
what
on,
I said.
stand on what you
Throw it
said.
out there.
Stand on your answer.
don't ever question my standing abilities.
Two Martins. All right.
Two Martins. Oh, for me, it's gonna have to be Will, and that's just
How'd I
because
know? How'd I know?
it's gonna have to be Will because I mean I'm not giving up Martin. I'm
He
not
gonna
giving up
agree
Eddie
with that.
Murphy.
He gonna
Come
agree
on
with
now,
that.
Eddie
Always us
Murphy is
two
just
versus them.
It's definitely
One
you
of
gonna say
the
Will.
goats.
You gonna say Will?
You already know my
Oh.
answer.
You gonna say Will?
You already know my answer.
Based off
Why-
of
why
saying, I'm
Will?
gonna look for something they don't like.
Why Will?
Okay, look. So,
because I feel like the things that Will did could have
Which
easily be
things?
done by somebody else. Everything.
Which things?
Anybody could
oh
play
my
the
God,
roles
you
that
gave
he
her the
plays.
GG?
Well, hold on.
I'm
we
for
don't,
real.
We don't count, bro.
I
We don't
agree.
count.
Hold on. Stop.
well, who else? Well, who's your pick?
I'm saying anybody could have did what he did.
Disrespect. him.
Anybody could have done what Will did.
Look, let the man pick.
I don't believe that. I feel like there are certain you can put anybody in a specific place, but certain characters bring certain actors bring certain characters to life.
I Am Legend.
What?
Legend?
Anybody could have played that.
No, not anybody could have played that.
We gonna let
All
Kevin
right,
pick.
out of the four, out of
Who
the
you
four,
pick?
Fresh
out of the
Prince.
four, who could have done it?
Who
Right.
could
Who
have?
could have done the
Let's
Well,
Legend?
hold
say
on.
that.
Let's
keep
get the
it
ones
within
gotta
the
go.
four.
Jamie
answer.
Foxx?
Let's keep it within the four. What?
Y'all
Jamie is a good actor.
He's a
He
good
is,
actor,
but
but
I don't
he
know if I
couldn't
can
have
He
did
can
I Am
never be
Legend.
that serious.
I couldn't. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, look at Sleep.
Look.
He did Law Abiding
Look.
Citizen.
Look what he
Yeah.
did Sleep.
But listen. Even with Law Abiding Citizen,
It wasn't that.
He was still
It
Fox.
was serious.
yeah, he was serious. But when you look at Jamie, you still want to smile a little bit.
Every time.
I do that with Will.
Yeah.
I can't see Will be serious. Only movie I saw him being serious that I was like believable was The Pursuit of Happiness. But that was such a dope story.
What about 8 pounds?
8 pounds?
You know, I haven't and I can just I haven't
I don't wanna
seen
hear
that
it.
all the way through.
Okay, so I would.
You think of Hancock Will Smith.
Yeah, give your answer. You talk about everybody else's answer.
Yeah.
I think my Wild Wild West will.
Yeah, I pick one.
It would have to be for me. It would be Jamie.
And I can see him saying that.
For me, it would be Jamie. Jamie's dope. Jamie's is all around, but I really feel like I really grew up on Will, Eddie, and Martin.
Mm-hmm.
I respect that answer because honestly, Jamie would have been my next pick.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mine
Ray
too.
is just
Yeah,
that
but-
movie is a
but
classic.
now-
And couldn't nobody else
Right,
do that.
But also,
Nobody else could have played
but
that role.
look
like
at
him.
this
Ray
as
over
well.
all of Martin Lawrence's career?
Look,
I didn't pick
All
one.
right,
but hold on,
excuse me.
but hold
Will
on.
Smith.
But listen, now let's look at catalog. Right, those three have a full catalog of greatness. Everybody stumbles here and there, but they've got a catalog that you just can't really wipe out. Jamie's is cool.
Yeah.
It's not bad, but he doesn't have the
No.
same level of longevity as
Well,
the
he
other
getting
three.
ready to play Mike Tyson,
He
so
about to
Oh,
murder
yeah.
that
He
role.
about to kill
Did
it.
you hear him do the Mike Tyson voice?
Yeah.
he's gonna kill it.
Fire.
That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. Jamie is just such a great actor, and I'm looking at acting ability too. I love
Yeah.
Will, but he ain't.
But that's why it was a stupid question. So
because there's so many different
Right.
factors in
so
it.
I have to go off of the body of work as a whole.
What about his albums?
That's what I was thinking too.
He's got
I,
albums.
I rock with his albums.
Yeah.
I rock with his albums.
What about his
You
That
know what
first
was
one?
you know what
What
was
about his
funny?
stand-up?
Oh, that first one was fire.
Fire.
Try the Fox off?
I still play it.
What about that?
Alright.
What about his stand-up?
No, that first album.
And his stand-up is fire. See,
Hey,
that's what I'm saying.
hey,
His
yeah.
stand-up is
Hey,
fire too.
No, listen. It was a stupid question.
He like, look, ain't no right answer. That's true.
Hey, what about how he did do at the awards?
Oh, this is your conscience
Ah,
speaking.
yes.
This is
What's his name? I forgot his name.
Bro, that dude was so hurt.
Yes.
Bro, that shit was
To this
so
day.
He killed his
funny.
career.
To this
Killed
day.
it.
To this day.
All right.
All right. So one's got to go. Okay. So we got it. So
We done.
They wanted to
two
put Denzel
Wills,
in that
two
conversation.
Martins, and one Jamie.
Okay.
All right.
I think my answer is the most valid one. I just want to set that for the record. For that reason though, catalog. For that reason, because they're all good. They're all good.
Okay. So let me ask y'all this, and then we're gonna move on. Does Will have a classic movie?
Ali was classic to me. I loved it.
I didn't. You think that he did a good job in Ali?
I did. Y'all don't think he did good?
Yes.
Hell no.
He did. I thought.
Hell no.
What do you think? I
I
thought
gotta
he
watch
did
it again.
amazing.
I gotta watch it
Hell
again.
no.
I'm gonna be honest
Wild
with
Wild
y'all.
West and Independence Day
Listen.
are both all the
Independence
MIBs.
Day.
Classics?
All the MIBs.
In my beats.
Hold
Bad
on.
Boys.
Bad Boys.
Bad
Hold on.
Boys.
Hold on.
Bad
You
Boys.
wanna
You
get
wanna
rid of
so
Bad
much
Boys?
respect.
Hold
You
on.
wanna get rid of
So
Bad
I'm
Boys.
on drugs,
You're on
but you
drugs.
just named Independence Day and
They're
Wild
classics.
Wild
They're gonna
West.
play forever.
Wild
Hold on.
Wild
They're
West
gonna
is
play
a classic
forever. They're gonna
movie.
play
Hold on.
forever.
Hold
bro.
on.
Independence
Wild
Day.
Wild
Not
West
Wild Wild
They're gonna
West.
play
is a
forever.
classic. Are you saying Wild Wild West is a classic
when
movie?
I'm thinking about
Understand
Wild
the
West.
terminology for classic.
right,
Wild-
when I'm thinking about classic,
Wild
bro,
West?
When I'm thinking about classic, that movie is always going to play.
Wild Wild West
Just because you say it louder
is
doesn't
a
mean you're right.
classic movie. Are you serious?
Listen.
Just say it louder.
Why do you feel it's not?
Wild Wild West?
He gonna
We
just
know
keep
what
saying
we know
it.
what movie we're talking about.
sure-
We
I'm
know what
making
movie
sure-
we're talking
I'm
about.
talking
making
about the
sure
same
that we're
movie.
talking about the same
No,
movie.
listen. Not whether or not you like it or how corny
Right,
it
it's not
was.
classic.
corny as hell, but
Right.
it is one of those
Classic.
movies
What
that
is-
are always going to be around for
Okay,
gonna
maybe
be
our
around.
definitions of classic
No.
are
Look
different.
at look
are
at
different
this.
movies.
Look at this, right? Listen. Will Smith Summertime, right? What makes it a classic?
Oh my
Classic.
God!
What makes it a classic?
Because it's tied to a time, and you can play it. It has longevity.
Okay, so it will be around. It's something that
Forever.
will still stand the test of
Stand
time.
the test of time.
Right.
Does Wild Wild West stand the test of time?
The definition of classic is judged over a period of time.
We just said it.
Right.
Does Wild Wild
Right.
West
Yes.
stand?
Yes, for a couple reasons.
What?
For a couple reasons. One,
Oh no!
Listen,
we gotta
listen.
end this conversation.
I'm gonna have to go
We
back
gotta
and
end
watch
this
it because
conversation.
y'all
We need a
playing.
better
Y'all
because
tripping.
every time we disagree with
It
him,
was
we gotta
considered
end the
no. When it
conversation.
first came out, it was considered a flop.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
but it doesn't matter.
What?
it's still it's
How is a flop considered a classic?
Okay, wait.
Listen.
Y'all tripping.
10, 20 years from now.
I get. Listen,
10,
everybody alive knows what that movie is.
Okay,
Everybody
No.
alive.
No.
10,
Not
20,
everybody.
10, 20 years from now, are we going to be talking about After Earth? The movie they did with M. Shyamalan and his,
No.
and his son?
Nah, not at all.
Is that going to be a classic?
Ali is
Nah.
that movie is to
Nah.
me is going to be
But-
a classic. It's going to
People are
stand
still
the
gonna
test
watch
of time.
Wild Wild West.
That's
10
good.
years from now.
but listen,
After Earth is the realest flop.
listen.
he got.
If you could still talk about it,
Facts.
Only reason we're talking about
Decades
it is
away.
Because you're disrespectful.
I would have
guarantee
never
you.
brought that one.
He
up.
made a
No.
song
I
to
would
Wild
have
Wild West.
said Men in Black.
Wild West.
You know,
Men in Black, Pursuit of
Wild
Happiness.
West.
Those maybe. Pursuit of Happiness is
Hey,
definitely
look,
classic
first
to me.
off, Mr.
But I think it's more
Hypocritical,
because of the content.
Look at this.
Wild
First
Wild
off-
West.
First off,
You
said-
brought up Wild
first
Wild
off,
West.
Name a Will Smith classic movie, and now he's giving you Will Smith classic movies.
I no, those are debatable. Those
Yeah,
are debatable.
yeah.
no.
Bro,
I'm not
It's-
saying
but
yes.
they're accepted. They're acceptable.
accepted.
They're
Wild Wild
acceptable.
West is
Bro,
nowhere on this
that's-
man's list.
They're acceptable options, is
I
what
don't
he's
give a
saying.
damn what he said. What he said was name one, and we gave him 18.
Wild
Okay, wait,
Wild
wait.
West
All right.
is not
All
a
right.
classic movie.
Did you? Okay.
I feel
did
like
you
Fresh
mean
Prince more classic
or
than any of his
iconic?
movies.
Is it even iconic?
No,
No.
I'm
No,
asking.
it's definitely
There's a
not
difference. There's a
iconic.
difference
I'm-
between
I'm-
classic and iconic.
Dude.
His feelings are hurt.
Wild, No, because you say Wild Wild West.
He's
Because
moved.
so
out
look
of
at
all the
If he
out of
said
all the
Wild
movies,
Wild West one
listen,
more time.
listen.
Bruh.
By comparison,
He's moved.
if you're talking between those two, the Bad Boy structure is more of an iconic setup.
I would agree.
Wild Wild West will still be talked about for
Facts.
better or
It's
for
on
worse.
Netflix right now.
For better or for
Talking
worse.
about
For better,
But
for worse.
But the fact that you will still be able to talk about it,
And be this emotional about it.
right?
Nobody's
That's
talking
what
about
makes it a
Wild
classic.
Wild
We
West.
didn't say was it a good one.
Nobody else. is
Listen,
talking about
we
it.
didn't-
So hold on, just because I'm talking about it makes
Right.
it a classic.
You still talking about it?
So, do we talk about
It's what-
Vanilla Ice still to this day?
Ice Baby.
Come on, bro. That's
Classic.
That's a okay.
It's
Hey.
a bad
We're
one.
done.
Classic.
We're done.
Hey, we didn't
We're
say
done.
we didn't say good or bad.
No.
We didn't say good or bad.
No. The definition of a classic is something that will stand the test of time, not for bad reasons.
So
when
if-
you say classic, I'm
Okay.
thinking. So let's talk about music.
It's
So-
that
You're talking about
perfect.
Illmatic, Reasonable Doubt, Ready to Die. Those are not classics because they're bad works
Bro,
of
Ice
art.
Ice
It's
Baby
because
is a
they
classic,
stood the test
bro.
of time because
Yeah.
of how good they are.
Ice
Well, under
Baby is a
today's
classic.
standards, where it's like
Y'all-
whether you
y'all-
get
y'all
talked
definition
about
of
good or
classic,
bad,
we're
it's a good. It's still publicity.
Listen,
Yeah.
listen. Let me explain something to you, okay? Now, I will not by any means say that Wild Wild West is one of his best works of art.
I won't either.
Not even close. But what I will do is still watch it. I will watch it with my kids because it's corny, but it's
And they love
funny.
it.
They deserve it.
So
They
that's a
deserve to watch
personal favorite. It's not a
it. They
classic.
deserve to see
All right,
it.
we're gonna move on to the internet wins
Oh,
again.
you just gonna over talk it.
Oh yeah, we're going over top.
Right.
We have to do a part 1 and a part 2.
Good lord. Whoa, wait, man.
Disrespectful,
I
bro.
can't believe it. All right, internet wins again. First topic we got up is Miss B. Simone and her comments about that she will only date an entrepreneur when Nick Cannon questioned her about setting her up with a date. He asked her what were the criterias, and she said she will only date an entrepreneur.
I think it's just criteria.
Criterias, same thing.
Hey.
We make up words.
Well, no, she had more to the list, but the first thing she
Yeah.
talked about was an entrepreneur.
She said she couldn't be with a 9-to-5er because of the mindset of a 9-to-5er. She needs
Correct.
somebody who is interested in building
Generational wealth.
generational wealth,
And she
legacy.
said you can't
She said
build
you can't do
generational wealth
with
from
the
a 9 to 5.
and the mindset of you have to have be a certain mindset. Now, I might be an anomaly, okay, but I damn sure got some generational wealth already
Yes.
set up.
And she also said that she wants somebody that will understand her lifestyle.
See,
and she believes that a
then
9
let
to 5.
let that be the thing. Those are two totally different things.
Okay.
Understanding
So
lifestyle.
let's
But
talk about it.
But I can understand the combination though. So, somebody's asking me the other day, what kind of woman do I want?
He said all of them.
I need a woman that will complement the man that I am, both as a family man and as a businessman.
Okay.
Okay? Now, complementing breaks down into several different layers. But the thing is when you are with somebody, you represent each other. When you out in public, when you're dealing with other people, if you out there acting an ass and looking stupid, we're going to tie you back to your significant other. and we're
That's
going to
true.
talk about you. So how you present yourself, how you handle yourself, how you deal with certain situations. You know what I mean? I too, my girl may not need to be an entrepreneur, but she's got to understand what I'm doing. She's got to be supportive of what I'm doing. You know what I mean? And these are all complementative things. If you see I'm working on a bigger picture for us, have my back however you can.
But does her job define
yes,
those
it
things?
It can. Because if it's like this. Do you feel you deserve more out of life? Because I do. If you feel like you don't deserve and you're willing to settle, that's cool. But that's not for me. I want somebody that wants more like I want more. I want somebody that feels like they deserve more, but not just deserve, but are willing to work for it.
So a 9 to 5er can't be that person.
So hold on. So the question is,
Because you can have passionate. I have friends that are
But it's-
social workers
right.
that do important work.
But listen,
Everybody can't be an
But it's,
entrepreneur.
but it's not just a regular 9 to 5er. So when I say a 9 to 5er, I'm talking somebody that's just they
Whole life?
routine. That's it. You do the same thing every day. There's nothing more behind it.
But that's
There's
not what-
nothing more.
well, hold on.
Yeah,
So the question is, should entrepreneurs date entrepreneurs? Because that's basically how she framed it. She said, "I want to only date an entrepreneur because
She
only
said
an entrepreneur
entrepreneurs should date
will understand me."
Listen. She's an entrepreneur, but there's entrepreneurs out there that wouldn't even give her a time of day. Okay, so to liken yourself on a pedestal to where you're better than a 9 to 5er is already crazy.
Well, was it better or was that her
Now
preference?
that's her preference, but she made it as if she was better than the 9 to 5er because they don't have the legacy mentality. Those were her words. Watch the interview. She said, "I need somebody who have the mindset of somebody who wants to leave a legacy for their family, who wants to leave a legacy for their kids." How can you do that in a 9? Is that what she said? How can
I
you do that in a
personally,
9?
my thing is, it's just ignorant to say just because who is buying your product?
9 to 5er.
You don't want their money? Because I know for me personally,
that's not what the
no,
the
but I'm
basis
saying,
was,
but
though.
when you say things like that and you say the mindset and this and that, and you're not building, if you have a 9 to 5, you're not building generational wealth, well, then I'm not going to spend my money with you. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm going to keep my $9 to $5 because obviously I need them. You know what I'm saying?
Well, and so there's people like that. But for me, like I said, there are people who got 9 to 5s, doctors, lawyers, attorneys, right? They have.
We need them.
Right, but now we're looking at, okay, so how do you establish generational wealth? Like, what is your definition of that first? Because just because you have a 9 to 5 doesn't mean that you can't establish it.
Exactly.
But
That's what she said.
but it's more to it. So when you dig into that question, it's, are you just 9 to 5 and just settling? You have no aspirations to do anything else, or do you have a mindset where this is just either temporary or something that you're going to add on to?
It doesn't. To my thing is, it doesn't have to be temporary to still be a person of have the mindset that you guys are saying. I don't have to want to not work at the job that I might like doing that, and the work that I'm doing might be essential. That's the thing. I feel like this whole situation show what essential work is important.
But it
though.
wasn't about essential work. So again, generational wealth.
Man, I'm
is knowledge, and it's you setting up. My thing is, it's what you do with your money. It's not about how you make it. What are you doing with
that's
the
what we
money,
talked
and what is
about
the
earlier.
knowledge that you're
Facts.
passing down?
Facts.
Because
Right.
even if
Come
you
on,
are an
man.
entrepreneur, if say I start a business tomorrow and my kids, that's not their dream, that's not what they want to do. Only 30% of businesses make it to the next generation. 12% make it to the generation after that. So
She
what
got
are you going to do? What are you teaching them? If they want to sell your business, do they know what to do with the money?
Facts.
But
Come
look-
on,
Do
man.
they know
That's
how
what
to
we
make it
talked
run
about.
without them actually having to be the person to do it?
But you're addressing it the same. It's the same answer, just from a different perspective. Because at the end of the day, it's not just the 9 to 5. So when you're saying it's what you do with your money, that's still having another plan. That's still adding on to what you're doing, not just settling for the day in, day out 9 to 5.
But
not
that's what I
actually-
But
feel
that
like.
doesn't-
That's
that
where I
doesn't-
feel like she fumbled the bag.
Right.
Right there is saying that they got to have the mindset to build generational wealth, and we need to stop teaching black people that you cannot build generational wealth from a 9 to 5 because everybody's not
Come
built
on, man.
to be an entrepreneur. So you telling them that they're not going to be nothing in life
on.
instead of teaching them what to do with their money to build generational
See,
wealth.
and that comes from, this also comes from the same chick who just got whomped for plagiarizing a book. Okay, so you can.
Hold on, wait. We got womp that.
I'm up at 3 a.m. Control Alt
I'm
Delete
just saying.
and copy and paste
While
it.
you're manifesting your dreams on somebody else, you know what I'm saying, over somebody else. I just feel like this. I feel like it's very it's distasteful to go online and then say what she said without having a complete context and without being able to articulate exactly what
it's
you mean.
dangerous
well,
too.
it's too general.
It is,
right?
because she didn't get into the meat and the potatoes of what she meant.
But
or maybe she did.
So well, there's two sides
Different
to the
videos
statement
she did.
though. There's two aspects to the statement. There's one, what she wants for herself.
Yes.
Period. That trumps everything first. She's stating what she wants for her. Now, not going into the detail of the statement of a 9-to-5er doesn't have the mindset of that part is an opinion. So we've got a statement on what you want, and we have an opinion on what you believe, all tied into the same comment.
And that's why I was like, oh, okay. But then when she tried to explain herself and she went on live and was like, the mindset and this and that to me, when she was trying to defend herself, is where she started the talking down. And it's like, we got to start. We've just sat here and talked about teaching the next generation, and we need to teach them that there's different ways to skin a cat. Everybody ain't got to be doing the same thing.
Right.
Now look,
And our community needs more people doing different things. Because like I said last week, I can't eat T-shirts. I can't eat your mixtape. I can't put your, you know what I'm saying? Like, we need to diversify within black business.
And I think that was the issue I had with her comment. I don't have an issue with her preference. Everybody's entitled to their preference. If you don't want to date a 9-to-5er, don't date a 9-to-5er. Date an entrepreneur. But the reason behind it, and for you to generalize all 9-to-5ers to have the same mentality, and then to generalize all entrepreneurs to have the same mentality,
I know some broke ones.
It's wrong, because a 9-to-5er may understand you staying up till 2-3 o'clock in the morning. Another entrepreneur, and you know what I was reading on Twitter was some of the people like say, "Oh yes, sis, because I want somebody that doesn't have to clock in and clock out. When we want to go to Miami, we can just go on a Tuesday." It's farthest from the truth, because you may be with the entrepreneur that works 7 days a week, 12-hour days, and he cannot do that.
There's a lot of misconception in that. There's a lot of misconception in how entrepreneurs move.
Well, that's because that's from the voice of people who are not
entrepreneurs.
Right,
you don't know what you're talking about.
Now with her, I feel like she had to backpedal. Why? Because it was such a general statement that when people start getting on her line, she had to defend herself.
Yes.
The problem is that she didn't defend herself correctly. So
being condescending.
Right. And I'm pretty sure that wasn't even the goal, but put on the hot seat right then and there, and then everybody's sort of getting at you while you're trying to explain. So it's like you just fighting everything off. You're not going to respond the right way when you feel like you're being attacked from all circles, from all sides. You know what I mean? So not saying that's what it is, but that's a high possibility, because a lot of people don't know how to respond under pressure.
Yeah.
And let's put this into perspective. She was also getting criticized because of her comments on the George Floyd protest. When they asked her, how come you're being silent, how come you're not saying anything, and she said, because I'm a Christian and I'm trying to be as godly as possible, and I'm trying to respond to this like how Jesus would.
What does
and
one
then
have
people
to
were
do with
like,
the other?
wouldn't Jesus stand up and say something about social injustice?
I feel like,
why are you being why do you cry being a Christian to being quiet?
I feel like to make that statement, to make that kind of a statement, mean you're just looking for an easy way to back out of that conversation.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Because if you're a person that should have been addressing it and should have been saying something and you didn't, and now you put on blast for it, if you don't want to argue that out, you're gonna look for the easiest way to move. But then making that kind of a statement just put her back under the magnifying glass, because what kind of statement is that for this situation?
It's bad timing, and I think most people were looking at it like, okay, so as soon as you made your money, Now you're silent.
Right.
And then on top of that, you're saying, I don't want to date a 9-to-5er. So you're making this look like that you're like you said, like
Yeah.
she's better than
Especially,
others.
you gotta think she's social media famous. That's how she got started. So your social media platform gave you the avenue to do these other things that you're doing as far as business wise. So people are looking at it like, dang, when you didn't have no followers, we was sharing, we was liking, we was posting. Like, you know what I mean? So I feel like that's where it came to. And you're selling a book about manifesting your best life.
And you're manifesting other people's thoughts in your page.
Right. Like what you're selling, I feel like your audience is the one that you're talking about in her situation. Not everybody's situation, but your audience, you're saying how to manifest your best, how to manifest what you want. You're talking to a lot of 9-to-5 people. You know what I mean? That are going to be buying your book.
For some reason, man, they feel like we got to be like rappers or athletes.
We always got to be entrepreneurs. We always got to be amazing.
Or we got to be, you know what I mean?
First of all, I am amazing.
Well, yeah, you know what I mean. But for us to be successful or be considered successful, we got to be.
But listen,
you either an entertainer, you're an entrepreneur,
and I will address
you're in sports.
Listen, you've got to be though, right?
Yeah.
If you don't believe in yourself, how can you expect anybody else to believe in you? You can call me cocky, you can call me whatever you want, but everything that I am starts from within me. You know what I mean? So hell yeah, I'm gonna say I'm amazing. I believe it. Hell yeah, I'm gonna say I'm dope. I believe it.
I believe all of those things too, but I'm not gonna let B Simone peer pressure me into being whatever she wants.
No, because it's not about her. Like, she will find somebody that's for her,
and
that's fine.
And that's good.
It hasn't worked
You know what I
out
mean?
so far.
I feel like the attributes she was looking for are not tied to a job, though. I feel like that's what people are saying. The attributes you're looking for are just who somebody is as a person.
What she's saying is she don't want just a regular motherfucker. That's what she's saying.
And that's
long story short.
The regular
Photo B.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on should entrepreneurs date entrepreneurs?
Mr. Entrepreneur.
It definitely depends, only because I have one of my boys who kind of looks like a mentor, bigger brother. He likes to put people in the categories of kites and trees, right? Let me explain. You got a tree. You got somebody who has stability. You got somebody who's stable. They're grounded. They're where they are, right? You have kites who are most likely like us entrepreneurs who are going with the wind, right? It picks up
free flyers,
right? And we just go. Right, when something's good, when things are good, things are great. We on the wing, we up high. But when things are low, when things ain't moving, we ain't moving. Right. So when the tree gets with a kite, when the kite gets with a tree, or however you want to say it, it has the kite now has that stability to be able to still fly, but it's still grounded because it still has the stability from the tree.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's kind of like, sometimes like 9-to-5s or the trees, entrepreneurs are the kites.
Look at you, man, bringing the world together.
That's real. I feel like it's a good dynamic with the right.
It is.
With the right again, but I feel like I don't care how people date, but I wouldn't.
I just want somebody to be happy with what they're doing, so I don't have to hear them complain about how they're unhappy and not.
Can you just love yourself before you
have your own purpose?
Love yourself.
Because
love yourself.
There's nothing worse than being a person like myself or you or any of you guys, and we are constantly growing.
Yes.
Right. And I feel like some people have a problem with people like us who are constantly growing.
Now, with that though, I think that is one of the benefits of dating another entrepreneur is that they have a better understanding on how you have to
they
move.
might suck at being an entrepreneur.
And they might, but there's still a better understanding. A regular 9-to-5er or just anybody who's not into the field of expanding the way we all try to expand. That's why I say it looks easy because they don't know. So when you don't know why there are certain long nights, when you don't know why you got to be away for so long in general, that creates arguments. It creates issues. It creates
time with me.
Right. It creates an unstable environment for your relationship when they don't get it. So
but is that a generalization though? Because and I'm not saying that what you're saying isn't true because obviously you have to have some level of understanding. But a profession may change, right?
But that's why I said a benefit.
I feel like that's that person though, because I mean maybe I'm thinking of it because I'm looking at the situation of my relationship is great. You know what I mean? So it's like, to me, it's more so about the relationship, the communication, the maturity. Those are way different than your job.
That just makes you one of the lucky ones, right? So when we were addressing earlier, like with my situation, women are looking at other women and they're judging and they're comparing, right? With what I do, it's hard for somebody that doesn't get it. If they don't get it, it's hard for them to understand. They want to be there for you. They want to be there for you. They want to support you. I had an ex was like, you're very good at what you do. I just don't like looking at it.
Okay, so I think that's a good point. So, because another entrepreneur may feel the same way.
Right.
Yeah.
They just might, but somebody, so you're saying you would need somebody that's in your field because they would understand what that comes with. Because you can have an entrepreneur that maybe does hair products, and she might not know all the women that you may have to deal with, and it's going to be the same argument.
Not so much in my field. What I'm saying is it's just a better understanding.
You want somebody secure in who
Yeah.
they are. Just say that.
Yeah.
But that's
that could be a
again, that's
9-to-5er, right.
that could be anybody.
Right,
That's
because-
my thing is it could be anybody.
All of us have the same problem, bro. We all have to be with someone who is extremely secure with themselves. We're online all the time, and not just on the podcast. We're in the studio, right? I'm making music. I'm running around, bro. I work in a whole different city, bro. I'm not even here.
Right.
You know, in the week. I'm home on the weekends.
Right.
You know what I mean? So in order for my relationships to flourish, I have to have somebody who is enough for themselves to know that you're enough to be in the situation that we're here. Bump all the 9-to-5s. So
Man.
just be happy with
For
yourself.
real. Because I look at my husband, look how much he supports us.
Everything.
You know what I mean? And
Everything.
But listen,
y'all done
but
took
look,
him on. That's
but
y'all
look,
friend now,
look,
you know?
He understands though, right? That's the thing. Is find before anything else, just finding somebody that understands what you do.
But he's
Same way you
secure
gotta
with
understand
himself.
them. Right. No, security is a big part.
Yeah, because
But
I'm at 1, 2, 3,
Right.
4 dudes. My
Look,
husband was
look,
like, all right,
look,
bye.
and he was just walking out. He was just walking out. He was just walking out, and I was like, "Man, hug your wife and give her a kiss goodbye." So she came over there, and I was like, "That's why somebody else went your black queen." He said, "F him, I don't care. I'm everything." You know what I'm saying? You got
But
to,
it's-
like you
yeah,
said, you gotta
security.
have that confidence.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
be secure.
But he's secure in the relationship as well.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think trust is a big thing, right?
Well, they
You-
came up
Yes.
together. It's different when you want to meet one of us right now. and
Yeah,
you're
that's
like,
definitely
I
true.
Want, I want
Yeah.
you to. I can't. If you know that you can't handle this, stay away.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and like in
Stay
Swag's
away.
field and in Photo Beast field, you have to trust them, right? Because you're around beautiful women all the
But isn't
time.
it the same
and
thing?
they're
you know,
not all beautiful.
That's
okay.
I'm
That's
just,
another
I'm
conversation.
not putting names
No,
out. I'm
I-
just saying they're not
The
all.
perception,
there.
the
Right.
perception
You
is
don't
Right.
put
that
everything
you're
out.
around beautiful women
you have access.
all the time.
Listen,
right?
we are artists.
What is the difference?
My camera has
What's the
access.
difference between them being around people who they're taking photos with, or you being, or you acting like Liz and being an activist,
They
or
have,
me being in the
they have
studio?
more. They have more opportunity.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
So one woman
It's
to
it's more access to temptation.
yeah.
Is what I would say.
Yeah.
It's more access to temptation. Now,
Well, I'm
now,
glad I don't do what you do because I already have the same problem. You're doing music,
right,
and you're
but
talking
it's
to this
but it's
girl and
because
talking
you're what we call a power player. So you are in position to have the same access.
to- I don't want it.
It's not about one. You're just there.
Right.
And the
You have-
insecurity
you
is going
have,
to kick in.
Yeah, so
Bro,
you
I've
have
seen
access
it. I've seen
to
it every time. Everybody swears to God, I can handle it. I can handle it. I can handle it.
Mm-hmm.
And then you wake up and they're like going through your Facebook page,
Mm-hmm.
going through your Twitter and going through like, who is this? Who is this? Who is this?
That's
Right? Who is this?
that's part of
Who
the
is this?
insecurity. Now, my thing is, I done seen so much ass and titties. The shit is stupid. You know what I'm
Same.
saying?
Same.
So when that's the case, we're not 18, 19, 20 giddy about seeing fucking nudity and shit. It's
Right.
like what I do, I'm good at. What he does, he's good at. You know what I'm saying? We are artists, and we are taking people and sort of turning them into. It's
Art.
almost like your alter ego. You know
It's
what I'm
art,
saying?
Surgery, bro.
Yeah,
That's what it is.
but look, I've had many just be like, oh, don't Photoshop me, don't do this, don't do that. Why? Because I want to look natural. Do you put makeup on when you go to the club? Right? Do you still dress yourself up to
Women
look a
have
certain
a different
way?
perspective. Like he has a different definition for classic.
Uh-huh.
Women have a different definition for natural.
Right. So, but the thing is you still dress yourself up a certain way to be presented a certain way. Now, when I'm editing somebody, unless demanded to do so, to do otherwise, I edit to make people look good at the shape that they're at. You know what I'm saying? Now, I had a woman one time. It was a lesbian wedding I was working, right? Cute bride. Very cute. Very cute. She's a big girl. But she was still cute. Looked good. She was like, make me skinny. In her wedding photos. I said, I'm going to make you look good for your size. Don't worry about it. I got you. She said, I don't give a fuck. She said, if I wanted to see how fat I am, I'd look in the mirror. Make me look skinny. So I took her down half her size. And she was happy with that.
That's
You know
called insecurity.
It is. It is.
Right.
She's definitely not ready for the
It is.
entrepreneur 9 to 5
So
conversation.
so it's like, and that just goes back to like what we do as artists. You know what I'm saying? We are bringing people's visions to life, what they want to be. You've got your regular self at home, and then you got
we've seen
that
it.
that celebrity in your head. You know what I mean? That superstar in your mind,
Gee, send me some videos.
who you are and who you want to be. You know, and that's part of what we do. We bring that part to life. Everybody's got an alter ego.
Yeah,
Everybody's got a little.
Does that
you know what I mean?
change the fact, with all this good stuff you just said about how amazing your job is with all the boobs and the tits and all the ass, right? Does that change the fact that when people come into your life, it doesn't bother them?
Oh, it definitely bothers
Okay,
them.
then that's what we're getting to.
It definitely and that is still because they are not as secure in themselves as they would like to be.
Yes.
No, they are until they find out
What you do.
exactly.
Well, I think it's a test, right?
For
I
me,
think most people think they're secure until they're tested with how secure they actually
Bro,
are.
I'm gonna tell you, I live that life.
Yeah.
I live that life.
Right.
I live that. I've gotten complaints that you're sharing your stock winnings too often. It makes people want to be with you, right? It's almost like people want to get with you and then change who you are to fit their level of security.
To fit their
I-
But you can only say what you've been with. I've never been with somebody that does that type of photography. I've never been with somebody that's a producer. So you might
Thought she was
be
gonna say
secure.
something else. I've never
But I'm
been
saying
with
you
somebody
might-
like you. Not
No,
many people
you know what I'm
have.
saying? That's a producer. So you can't say what you're secure enough for if you haven't experienced it.
Yeah, but that's true.
Right?
But I'm not the
Sometimes it's more than what you
I'm not
believe
the-
it's going to be.
I'm not the tester spray bottle. I'm not the guy.
You know what I'm saying.
I'm not the. I've worked way too hard. He's worked way too hard. He's worked way too hard. And you guys have worked way too hard to be in a situation where somebody comes in and they demand you to change how you move your business.
When they liked
Oh,
you
yeah,
for
no.
who you was
Well,
first.
well, they mostly
In most
liked you.
cases.
They mostly liked you because you were popular and you looked like you had your stuff together.
Then people get selfish.
And then they figure
Yeah.
out a lot of people like him because he's popular and has his life together.
I know if we're dealing with somebody that's, gives back a lot to the community and does a lot of stuff like that, it is a little bit hard as far as him always being needed, you know what I mean, in other areas. But if my thing is, as a man, he's going to take care of home first. I don't have to worry about,
He does a great job.
you know what I mean? I know he has a lot of different responsibilities and hats to wear, but I know I'm going to be taken care of. And that's, to me, is because of him as a person. He doesn't, I'm not saying,
Again, like,
hey,
you guys have the
you got to
luxury
stop
of-
doing this. Don't go over there. Don't do that. Don't take that opportunity. I know he's going to balance it to where
You have
I
that
have what I
luxury
need.
of time, right? And you guys grew up together, so you guys know what it is, and that's what time is.
Your
Right?
situation
time gives
is
you
different.
understanding,
Your
wisdom,
circumstances.
and knowledge on how
Yeah.
to handle those relationships. Right? When you're 34, 35, 36, 37 years old, and I'm already like I feel like, and I'm not trying to be like swag, but I feel like
Where are we
if,
going with
if
this?
you come in my vicinity, then wherever you are, it's now here. Because I play up here. All my friends are millionaires. All my friends own homes. All my friends do. You understand what I'm saying? So the business mind. So I do understand what she's saying, but I'm not saying that a 9-to-5 person is not eligible to fill that position of someone I'm dating.
Exactly.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I understand what she means, because you do want someone that is going to be able to handle that situation and be able to, right? Because
That's all I kept saying was, I get that, but what does it have to do with their
It
job?
has
That's all I
nothing-
kept
It has
saying.
nothing to do with
It has
their
nothing
job
to do with
unless
it.
you're counting their
Yeah,
pockets.
it
bruh.
was too
Right.
much of a it was
That's
too
it.
much of a
You're just
general
counting their
statement.
you're
Right.
counting their
Yeah.
pockets.
Because
Agreed.
it comes down to capability. Who's going to
There
be
you go.
capable enough
And secure enough.
Yeah.
Look, I don't want to have no more conversations about dating somebody who's a rock star without the security conversation. Because some people need people to be beneath them to be happy.
And we'll talk about that next show because we're going to have a child psychologist, right? I think a lot of that
Not me.
has
I
to
need
do
a
with
winner.
your...
Ball, baby, ball.
I think a lot of that has to do with your bonding style,
Yes.
right? And a lot of that is developed in childhood. So you can have a secure bond. You can have an anxious bond. There's different bonds that how you relate to people. And with her, it's very troubling that you are relating to people based off their profession and not based off of their capability and their personality.
Right.
And I think you're tying that to is just like, oh, I want to date a doctor because all doctors have this type of personality, or it's just like, oh, I want to date an Aries because all Aries are like this. It's like, no. You're basing you are trying to relate to people based off of a false perception of who they may be, based on something that everybody in that same category has a different personality.
Her mistake was basically not properly breaking down her reasoning.
She didn't articulate
because at the end of the day, no matter what you're looking for, it takes a combination of things.
Facts.
And
You know what I mean?
to be fair to her, a person who is successful is going to be more secure in a relationship with her, and they're going to be more compatible to do the things that she wants to do, vacation the way she wants to vacation,
Right.
take trips the way she wants to take trips. But that doesn't mean that person is capable of loving you better than
Or
you
understanding,
or,
right?
You're right. But they can financially. You can match, right?
Well,
Yeah.
and you know what's telling too, and it just popped in my head how she tweeted about being a Christian. I would think that somebody in her status or her proclaiming to be a Christian, the first thing that you would have said is, when Nick asked her, "What are your
I need a
attributes
man
that
of
you
God."
want for?" First thing you said is, "I want an entrepreneur."
I
You
need a
didn't
man of
say,
God.
"I want a Christian man. I want a man of God. I want a God-fearing man." First thing that came out your mouth was
The bag,
entrepreneur.
bro. The bag. That's
always the money.
Let's
That
just
says a
say
lot.
it's
Yeah,
the
that's
bag,
true.
bro. Would people be so insecure around you, or you okay? Let's say you were taking photos of naked women and half naked women, and you weren't making any money, right? And you were trash at your job, and you weren't popular, and you weren't popping.
That'd be different.
Okay, would people still feel the same amount of insecurity around you? They would be like, no, you're washed. You understand what I'm saying? I don't
Pretty
think
much.
that you understand what I'm saying.
It's the clouds
It's the-
and all of that.
And
It's
it's
it's everything that comes with it.
Yeah.
And then it's like if
We
you're
should've
good
just
at
sucked at our jobs.
if you're good at what you do, I mean, like everything makes a difference,
It's true.
and how you are perceived.
Even if I hard-eyed under a chick's picture that I've been doing for years, right? You can come into a situation with me and know that this is how I communicate, because I sell records, I sell music, right? So one of my advantages to selling music is to be personable with women. You have to accept that.
Yeah, that makes sense. All right.
Photo B said we need to get to the next subject.
Yeah.
do the
It's gonna be 3
podcast normally
hours.
run this
Yeah.
long?
Yeah.
All
I think
right.
it's gonna have to be part 1 or part 2.
Yeah, we're going to have to do part 1, part 2. All right. Well, part 2
This
of
is
The Internet
fire.
Wins Again.
Oh, we got another one?
Yep.
Who said that?
That's great. Let's do it.
Yeah. So quick react. Well, I don't know. It's going to be quick. Snow on the Bluff. J. Cole versus at No Name. So do we all know how this started?
I don't.
Okay.
Break
At No Name, she is
At No
popular because she had an interlude on Chance the Rapper's album Acid Rap, I believe, right? She tweeted out, "Poor black folks all over the country are putting their bodies on the line in protest for our collective safety, and y'all favorite top-selling rappers not even willing to put up a tweet." No Name tweeted, "Niggas' whole discographies be about black plight, and yet, and they are nowhere to be found." Excuse me. Trying to read a tweet. All right. So J. Cole read this, and he felt some kind of way about it, obviously, because then he made a song, which is Snow on the Bluff. In the Snow on the Bluff song, he responded to At No Name, and then a couple days later, At No Name then responded back to J. Cole in the song. So most people heard J. Cole's song and thought that he was dissing black women or talking about black women specifically. So we've all heard the song?
I have.
Yes. Okay.
Yes, we all have.
So the question
I
is
have.
how do we feel about the song, and do we believe that J. Cole was misogynistic
Yeah.
and talking down on black women?
Do we have an order?
You should go.
Go ahead. Step that now.
I feel both sides. I know y'all felt like I was gonna drag y'all as the woman on the show, but I feel both sides of it. When I listen to the song and listen to the lyrics, a lot of the things that he was saying are things that were said to me by black men. So everybody ain't gonna say the same thing if there ain't some truth to it. You know what I mean? And I understand where black women are coming from, where we say we're unprotected, you know, and we're the least protected and all of that. It's very true. And are we tired of, you know, fighting for black men, but then black men not fighting for us? Yes. But do I feel like that's what the situation with J. Cole was? No. I feel like he was correcting in love and saying, I hear you, but I don't like the delivery. And if you want to reach more people and get your message out to more people, this is the way that you should word it for it to be accepted. And a lot of people were saying that she has a book club where she puts out books that people should read to get themselves educated. And they're saying, okay, well, you admitted to not reading those books, so what more can she do? She gave you the information to get educated and you didn't. So I feel that too, because it's like, if you were listening, you have already been on these books. You would have already been educating yourself. Facts. But I'm just tired of the black women versus black men. And I feel like the women on their side are right. The men on their side are right. Delivery matters, and it can be better. Our delivery is coming from frustration. So if you don't address that frustration, we're still not being heard. But what's the point of being right if you're not moving forward? So for me personally, I took the opportunity to sit down with my black man and say, do you feel how do you feel about the song? How can my delivery be better? And on his end, he's like, you know, what situations do you feel like you're not being heard on? You know what I mean? Like, if you're not going to sit down and have those conversations, it's just two people beefing. Got it. Yeah, it's true. Like, we need to have these conversations with each other.
Right now.
You know, and I know black women are like, oh, we tired of having to be I'm tired too, but I love my black man and I love black men in general that I'm willing to do the work. Period. I'm not gonna just give up. You can't. What, we just gonna give up on each other?
It's my turn.
I'm not. Hold on. But this is why, because I haven't heard the song, right? But I'm listening to what you're saying, and what it sounds like to me, what it reminds me of, is that we, as black couples, you know, we don't always, or not even just couples, but just to the gender fight itself, we do not know how to consistently and positively communicate with each other. And that creates so many fallouts because, again, how you dress it, it's not what you say, it's how you say it. It's not what you do, it's how you do it. And if you don't care about your presentation when you're putting it out there, then you open yourself up for even more scrutiny. You're going to get scrutinized regardless because everybody doesn't always agree. But if you just are sloppy with it, with how you put it out there, you know what I mean? You open up that whole door.
Bar game.
I feel like you put in the work when you love somebody. And yes. I love black men. I love mine. So I'm gonna have that conversation. But we are tired of not being heard by y'all, for sure. Like, my thing is, she put out the little book club or whatever, the information, and she only got a response when she got at him. Right. And we be tired. Like, sometimes I feel like that. Like, dang, when I flash, when I, you know what I mean, when I say it bad, and all of a sudden I get a response, and we having a conversation now.
Because you put a jolt in the situation.
Yeah, but it shouldn't have to be that. Like that. That's my thing.
I'm just gonna go back to what I just said 15 minutes ago. Okay, the trauma that we suffer from where we've grown up, the communication barrier is bad. Black men, whether they want to admit it or not, we have this thing that when we are being chastised by a black woman, most of us were chastised by our aunties or our grandmas, or we did get raised with our father. It triggers a different type of emotion for us, and it triggers a different type of result. So all the people that are on there bashing J. Cole, misogynist, that's not that wasn't his intent. Now, if you look at it from the perspective of now he's responding that she flashed, because that's when we know to respond. You know what I'm saying? And it's usually because when we grow up as young men in these households without parents, J. Cole, did J. Cole have both his parents?
I think that he has a white mother and a black father.
Okay, so regardless, but let's just
I'm not too sure. Don't quote me on that.
Let's just talk about what we're talking about. So regardless of that, that is the nature of our relationship. Our relationship with black women and black men is molded way before this No Name and J. Cole beef popped off, right? So I want people to stop being so superficial with their responses. I want people to go look at yourself, look how you were growing up, look how you were raised. Make sure that if you were a daughter that just was raised with a mom or a grandma, and you heard your mom bashing your dad, or if you were a person who was raised with your dad and you heard him bashing your mom, right? The way that you're going to, we all have different triggers from childhood, right? So when she did what she did, I believe that J. Cole in his heart felt like his response was a good response. I don't believe it was malicious, right? J. Cole said, you're giving me the title of a leader, and I don't read that good. I don't read that well, right? He said, I never asked to be a leader. He said, all I'm doing is reciting my thoughts. Now, if they reside with you, that's why you like my music, right? But at the same time, yes, you want me to read? Hit my line, right? Don't go online and tell me that the niggas who profit off of black problems and black issues, don't do that publicly to me, because it triggers something for him, right? And even being triggered, I feel like he just wanted to express himself to her back publicly the best way he could. They bashed and bashed and bashed Cole, and then she turned around and released a record bashing him back, right? So the same thing that we were fighting over, she turned around and she did the same thing. And initially, she could have inboxed him. J. Cole is going to respond to No Name. Kendrick will respond to No Name.
I don't know about Kendrick, because people feel like Kendrick is who the song actually was for.
Yeah, regardless.
The tweet.
The tweet,
But
tweet,
yet, and still, there's a way to be proactive about getting change. And publicly going out and telling niggas that they're just making money and they don't give a fuck, you're not gonna get the type of response like you just said. Her delivery is what she's saying is absolutely correct. We expect you guys who preach black excellence to take the forefront, because we the people monetize your guys' career. We buy your records. We do everything we can to support you, right? J. Cole drops a record, 1 million in less than an hour, right? We have a certain expectation, but I think to elevate the beef between black men and black women and call him a misogynist is terrible. Because we have more important things to be fighting over right now than who's right and who's wrong about a goddamn delivery. You understand what I'm saying? Those are issues for later. You got it all together. She said, with the world in smoke, he thought to respond to me, and then you turn around and you respond to him. Is that not hypocritical? Or am I the only person who sees that this could have been talked out?
Oh, it definitely could have been talked out.
You understand what I'm saying?
It could have been done better.
The initial move wasn't a pleasant initial move. It was a call out in bash form. You understand what I'm saying? So you get what you get when you do that, especially if you take into consideration how we've grown up. That's all I gotta say, man. I want people to really take some time and stop just jumping on the groupthink bandwagon. Stop
dig deeper.
Thinking, right, do your job.
Look a little bit passive.
Dig
I would
deeper.
agree.
It's deeper than that.
Yeah, Cole just pretty much responded the way he should have, in my opinion. That's it. Because he addressed what she said. He didn't come at her as if it was an issue. He didn't come at her like she's fucking up or anything like that. He's just saying that her tone was what it was, and like I didn't really like the tone, but not because like why she said it,
It's
or how she said it, but like not just how she said it, but it's like where's it coming from, you know, and why is it being addressed to just certain artists versus just being let people be.
He said if you're this educated and you were this blessed to be endowed with this knowledge, right? He said, then teach us how to do it, please.
Exactly. Don't be mad at me for not knowing.
Don't be mad at me.
And most response for black women was, we already do enough. We shouldn't have to teach you.
There's no limit to how much you raise your child. He just said that his daughter could stay through college as long as she was paying. And you understand what I'm saying? How do you define the limit of enough? And I understand black women are not protected like they should be, right? But at the same time, when half the population of black men are incarcerated and charged with adult charges at 14, 15 years old, they can't get a job. They can't get. I just want people to look at the whole thing.
And that's my thing. I was looking at the whole thing, and I was talking about it on the way here. I was saying, as black people, we already starting behind the start line. And I feel like as women, we start even further back. So we're
agree.
looking at the fact, you say black women are becoming the most educated. We entrepreneurship. We doing all of these things, and we're looking at black men like, come on, like, you know what I mean? Like if I had to start from back here, you started from right here. Where you at? You know what I mean?
That's the issue.
And the thing is, you have to take into consideration the things that y'all go through as black men versus
but no
us
one takes
as
into
women.
no one takes into consideration what it costs to be a black man.
But you have to take responsibility for yourself
We-
too. It's not black women's job, but it is. We should be here to be understanding and to have your back, and we do.
No,
You see black women, we be there.
You do your. Black women do their job better than any other woman alive. Hands down, for the amount of bullshit that you have to deal with, for the police brutality, for the gangs and the violence, for the niggas who can't get a job, y'all hold down more than any other person alive.
And that's why I feel like our delivery is the way that it is. Sometimes it's frustration. And I feel like the way that we have to give y'all the understanding about what y'all go through, sometimes we need the understanding of she frustrated. You're not listening. You're not looking at the frustration. You're just looking
But that's
at
why I
the
said you
delivery.
have to look at the whole thing. You have to look at it in total. You guys learn your frustration from childhood like we learn our frustrations from childhood, right? But this is why this podcast is so crazy, because I've only ever had this conversation with one other person, and it wasn't because she brought it up. It's because I understand that the trauma level, our communication is fucked off, right? If, as a black man, do you want to be a provider and a protector?
Yeah.
Do you want to be a provider and protector?
absolutely.
Do you want to be a provider and protector? There's not one black man alive that doesn't want to be a provider or a protector naturally to his family. Circumstances arise and then they're broken. Psychologically, black men are broken. Black women are not psychologically beaten by the police or broken by the police or broken by jobs. It is institutionalized to elevate. Did you see the nigger marriage? The nigger marriage written by Willie Lynch. Did you see that? It is institutionalized to give a black woman a job ahead of a black man so that the child follows after the black mom, the black woman, instead of following after the roles of a man, because it leaves the black woman unprotected. It's written in slavery, right? So we have to educate ourselves, because you have to know that we're not just fighting a J. Cole no name battle. We're fighting a plan that was kept to keep us divided.
And that's what we need people to see. We
don't
have to
these
be
conversations though.
intentional with how we handle each
Well,
other.
how do you write something called the nigger marriage?
Well, and those letters have come into question. I'm not too sure if those are real, but the mentality behind it is real,
It's
right?
100%
'Cause Jim
apparent.
Crow and all that, right? So, what I got from it, and I just have different ears. So, my take, and I'm gonna keep it short. The tweet, I think, was directed at Kendrick. I don't think it had nothing to do with Cole at all. I think Cole took it some kind of way, and he felt some kind of way
He
about
did say you're addressing my nigga.
Because the very next day, he went out protesting. Right?
But he was
So-
before that though.
Yeah,
No.
it wasn't them just.
Yes,
No,
was.
no,
He has
no,
before.
Yes,
no,
he
No.
has.
In the George Floyd epidemic
Bro,
and all the stuff that's
Cole-
going on,
Cole tweeted.
go look at the picture. He was seen protesting 5:30. The tweet came out 5:29. He went out the very next day.
Nah, man.
Okay, well, you can do your research. I did my research. She was absolutely right. There are rappers that are profiting off of black plight, but then do not show up when we need them the most.
Facts.
Kendrick.
Facts.
I haven't seen Kendrick since Black Panther.
You are right.
Right? So
Right.
she was. I think it was towards Kendrick. Cole got in his feelings, and he wrote a rap. It was an honest rap. It was his feelings. What I thought Cole was talking about, I think he used her as an example, but his argument was the woke community versus the non-woke community. And what he was saying is that there are certain people that are in leadership that they have the responsibility of helping people get to a place of being woke, but instead of them using their platform to edify and to uplift our people, they're using their people to make sure that they're being condescending with their actual platform.
Yes, I definitely believe that.
So when I read his lyric, when I heard the song, and when he's saying stuff like, when he said, "How you gonna attack when you attacking the very same niggas that really do need the shit that you saying, instead of conveying and holler, coming at us and get us up to speed. Shit, it's a reason that it took 200 years for our ancestors just to get free." And before that, he says people. He says people 3 or 4 times. He did not say men. He did not say me, he was saying get us up to speed, help us
That's
understand. And when he's saying us in the verse, or in the very beginning of the verse, he's saying, how you going to talk down to me? Or he was saying that that just because you woker than me, don't talk down to me, basically, right?
Yeah.
So again, that's distinguishing. You have knowledge of what's going on, and I don't. It was a distinction between knowledgeable people and non-knowledgeable people, not men and women. And I think when he said that the queen's tone is bothering me, that was a trigger. And when black women hear that, watch your tone, because black men, we always tell them, stop being so loud, stop doing this, stop yelling, stop screaming.
Not just
And
y'all,
that was
media, everybody.
everybody.
We all too
that
loud,
was a
too
trigger.
black, too everything.
And it's more hurtful to black women because they hear it from everybody else. Why do they got to hear it from us? And I think it's the same thing with us. When we come home and we've been working with the white man or whoever you're working with, and you feel like that you're being oppressed, and you come home and as soon as you walk in the door and she's nagging, it's like, look, I hear it from everybody else. Why I got to come home and hear it from you? It's the same thing.
That's what I said. It's that trauma. And Cole was marching May 30th.
I said that.
Oh yeah.
The tweet came out May 29th.
Oh, got you.
He marched May 30th.
So why is it just now a huge thing? Oh, because the song came out.
Because the song came out.
Yeah.
And then when she released the song, and she was basically saying that, oh, it hurt his ego, and why are you talking
It did
about
hurt his
me?
ego.
It did. And she said, why are you talking about me when there's niggas that are hanging right now? She had a point. They all had a point.
Yeah.
Cole had
It
a
was
point.
fire. The
No
whole
Name
thing
had
was
a
fire.
point.
My thing is,
and I
what's
think
the
it
point of
brought up-
being right, though, if you're not
Well,
going
and
nowhere
she
with
said
it?
that is the coldest bar today. What is the point of being right if you're not going to make any change?
Exactly. So, but I think the bigger issue of it is that black women are tired of being the forefront of the movement, and they're tired of carrying our dead weight because, again, like she said, they not only have to be black, they're black and they're women. So, and they are the most educated in the country, but get paid the least. So when we were talking about being oppressed, they are the most oppressed
Facts.
demographic that we have in America
I
today.
mean, and they're doubly oppressed because they're oppressed by themselves, and then they got to deal with the oppression and and that's what I was saying a little bit earlier.
And then we hear black men saying, help me, teach me. And it's like, God damn, what
Well,
else I
it.
got to do?
And we should be leading. And
And
I think that's where.
Facts.
But again, with the systematic racism, with the institutional racism,
Bro,
with
it's a lot of factors.
stuff
It's a
going on.
lot of factors. I don't care if you said that's real or fake, bro. But there's a lot of factors that go into being the we are naturally, black men are naturally the worst. As to be anything on earth, the worst thing that it could be to be a black man. There is.
I think being black in general.
I agree, but I think for different reasons. I think a black man is everything is systematically set up against you. You're always wrong. You're all 100% always wrong. Your conviction rate is way higher than anyone else, right? They try us as adults as 13, 14, 15 years old, right? They want us to perform at like this Superman, super intellectual level when you've purposely defunded, that's the word we're using, defunded our schools, our education is less,
Right.
everything is stacked up against us. Black women have to hold all of that shit down. No, they're not being arrested at the same rate. No, they're not being charged the same way we are. But then they're left to raise the goddamn kids. Then they're raised to make dinner. Then they got to go to work. Nigga, they're tired.
Right. Well, and I think it can't be a conversation of who gets oppressed the most, because then you got to talk about who's being over-sexualized, who all these black women are coming up missing,
Right.
all these black women that are being raped, all these black
But-
women that are being, and some of it is by us. So that's what I'm saying. I think the hurt comes from is that we've been holding you down so long,
Facts, I agree.
and you are taking part in the oppression.
I-
It's not just
You can't get to a level of tired so much that it just becomes war between us.
Right.
I can't tire of my children that much. I can't tire of my family that much. If there's work to be done, there still has to be work to be done. And I'm not discounting what they do because they do every fucking thing.
Right. But I think that's I think the issue is that why is the onus always on them?
It's not, and I don't.
That's why I said, as a black man in this situation, talk to a black woman and ask
That's what I
her.
said,
You
have
know what
the
I mean? In the
conversation.
ways that she feels unheard. I mean,
Have-
I feel like this is a catalyst for those conversations to happen.
Absolutely.
Unless you just want to be
Well,
on
that's 'cause you the
Facebook
boss.
making your point and debate.
Well, you know what? Let me. I will call to action, because you guys said call to action, and then we're gonna go to the trash segment so we can end this, because I know we've been here almost 4 hours.
It's gonna bounce in 3 seconds.
My bad.
No, it's all good. So ask a black woman, Hell, ask any woman. Have you ever been sexually touched in a way that you did not want to be touched? Have you ever been molested? Have you ever been raped? And I'm telling you, you would be highly surprised of that answer. And as a black father that has a daughter, that scares the hell out of me, because there's going to be a time where I'm not going to be able to protect her. And I'm telling you, it is more common than what we think it is. Those R. Kelly stories and all those stories about family molestation and women being raped and going off to college or going in the army, all those are all real stories. And like that story with the Russell Simmons things, you see right there, black women feel like that they're not being heard, because when they're telling us, or they feel like that if they do tell us, that nobody's going to believe them. So we can't be a part of that problem. And I think that's why the misogyny is what was the biggest thing that came up with Cole.
Do you feel like he was being misogynistic?
I personally do not, but I understand why they felt that way, because, again, all she was doing was just sharing her thoughts. She was saying what was on her mind, and she was, obviously, she put out avenues for book clubs and things like that to teach people, and Cole came and said, I don't like your tone. As a black woman, that was a trick.
Because they were saying if a black man put out the same tweet, would he have went all in the booth and made a song and all that?
Well, here's what people still got to remember, is that when you are in your feelings and somebody says something, your feelings is going to determine how you perceive that actual message.
Yeah.
And that's what's happening on all sides. You feel a certain way about something, and they may not have meant for the message to come off that way, but you received it because of how it triggered you. And then one trigger sets off another trigger.
Right.
That's
facts, yeah.
Remember we talked about in relationships, and I feel like it's in any foundation, you have to be aware of all the triggers. That's the whole purpose of dating and finding someone else out and being in a relationship with someone before you get married, right? So you can set off that booby trap on accident, and then you can be like, whoa,
or on
how
purpose.
do we fix this?
And that's where Cole, that if there's any mishap that Cole had, it was it was terrible timing, and like you said, you have to be aware of black women's triggers.
You have to be,
because you know who it was directed towards. It was directed towards a black woman. So you got to be a little bit more sensitive, especially in a time like this where niggas are dying. Like, niggas are dying. And what she was saying was, out of all the stuff,
you could have responded about
out of all the stuff going on,
respond to me.
You talking about me.
Yep.
You ain't talking about the police. You ain't talking about Trump. You ain't talking about the systematic racism.
I think that shit is trash as fuck, though, to have a platform. Now here we are. Right, and this is all we've been talking about. We've had attorneys, and we had all kinds talking about police brutality, and here we are, right? And we're a smaller platform, and we have next on the line. We understand what this can do to us futuristically. You know what I'm saying? We understand that they could come back, because they're pulling back tweets from 20 years ago, bro. I know I'm in trouble.
I don't want to lose my 9 to 5.
I'm just letting y'all know right now that I might not make it, but she's right in the context of what she was talking about. There is a duty, a fiduciary obligation to make sure that you address our issues first. Like she said, they are definitely monetizing off of. That's why I said, if you want to respond to, he responded publicly, and he's gonna feel how he feels because of how he grew up in the trauma of what we've experienced. But that's why I said, a DM or a phone call. Right, that was the preferred method to have these conversations.
From Cole.
From Cole. Yeah.
But I mean, even on a smaller scale, I mean, I've gone through the same thing of, you know, me saying something to my husband and it not being said in the right way, and him focusing on that, and then I feel unheard because I'm like, but did you hear me though? Like, you know, did you hear what I said?
Well, it's hard
like,
to
you know what I
receive
mean?
a message though, like that.
But the thing too is like how I feel with this situation. Sometimes we've said it before in the nice way, and then the time that I flash is the time that I get a response, and now we putting all this energy to how I said it. And I couldn't get this energy on the last 4-5 times that I said the same damn thing.
But there got to be room to have open dialogue on both sides. I think Cole needs to have an avenue to be honest. He was just being honest.
Yes.
And was it bad timing? Absolutely. This is not the time to be saying that. But it was honest. And I think it wasn't from a bad place. And I think because Cole's history, I think we should give him the benefit of the doubt.
Man, the BOD, bro.
Yeah.
I mean,
So
that should have been a
him.
given. The last nigga you want to cancel right now is J. Cole.
Well, and I don't think people were canceling him. I just think people were saying that because of his platform, he had a higher responsibility.
I don't care, man. The culture is. I read so many tweets and so many Instagram posts and so many Facebook. I'm not a fan of Cole anymore. Shut up.
And that's fine.
Shut
They're,
up.
I mean, they said the same thing
Bro,
about
we
about Chris Brown.
Like
And
Swag
still
just said,
listening
we
to him,
be
right?
so emotional, bro.
Yeah.
You have to have. This is why I think it's great, like you said, to have this platform, because these are the conversations that we don't have. There's not a lot of men that are going to be able to even identify that they have that trauma from growing up, right? So when they see it as an adult, it makes them revert back to childish actions, right?
Yep.
So when you're looking at what makes a man tick, you have to understand really what makes a man tick and where he comes from, right? And the same thing as a woman, right?
Vice versa.
If I wasn't shit, my daughter would get tired of all men shit based on how her mother perceives me, because she would be exhausted from her mom being exhausted. You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And that carries over. And now she doesn't have any time in the day to help develop someone else who who was not developed.
Facts.
So I get it. It's a lifelong process, but at some point we need to really have these conversations and sit down and be like, I feel this way because this is what I experienced. And I feel this way that and luckily for us, we're in a culture right now where people our age we're changing these things.
We have to listen
we're
to understand.
going to therapy. We're
with each other.
Our generation is putting in more work, and I feel like honestly, I've gone to therapy, and every time I go, ain't no black man in there. You know what I mean?
When I went,
Ain't
it
no-
was just me.
We will have a therapist
Come on.
on the show. So before we get cut out of time, trash ass fuck. What is the segment? Who
Well,
you got?
Dun, 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 dun. Well, today for trash as fuck, I'm gonna give some honorable mentions. Mike Pence, you are trash as fuck. Mike Pence lied about the COVID-19 for the presidential rallies. He said that the numbers in Oklahoma were down so much that it was safe to go to the presidential election rally with or without a mask.
False.
Bro.
It's terrible.
Secondly, on a new interview
That's
on
just
CNN,
irresponsible.
Come on, bro.
That's
You
just
care about your
irresponsible.
votes more than you care about lives, bro? Here's the more fucked up thing. We know that he's a known racist, right? On CNN, he just refused to say Black Lives Matters. He would not say all lives matters. He refused, right? But not only all lives don't matter, presidential election votes matter more than all lives, because you want your white people to go out there and get COVID-19 and possibly die.
Yeah.
Mike Pence, you are trash.
As fuck.
Trash as fuck. Donald J. Trump, bring that ass here, boy. Even for having a goddamn Juneteenth rally for your presidential election on Juneteenth, who the fuck do you think you are? You are trash as fuck.
He did change it to Saturday.
I don't
After
give a
pressure.
Where do you-
shit.
But
He
he
said
wanted
it
it on
again.
Juneteenth.
Where does he want to have it though?
Listen.
Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Take some history about it real quick,
Man,
please.
listen. If you don't know what Black Wall Street, look, we'll save that for the next one. That's a whole nother podcast.
1921
Look,
massacre. Yes.
First, and then this Negro said that he made Juneteenth famous. Donald J. Trump, you are trash.
All we can do is shake heads.
Listen, you don't do anything. Listen, Skeeter Mills, the guy who hit the girl in the face with the skateboard for not getting your phone number, you and all your friends are trash as fuck. Perfect example of black women not being protected. All them goofy ass niggas sat there and they laughed together. Trash as fuck. I hope they find you out there and beat that ass.
Period.
Trash as fucks.
Facts.
Listen, B. Simone, I already talked about her.
Yes.
I won't even talk about the 9-to-5s anymore. I just want to talk about the plagiarism.
Oh,
Yeah.
You are trash as fuck to tell somebody to manifest your destiny and goddamn manifest someone else's in your book. You are trash as fuck. Plagiarization is
copy
real.
and paste that.
Old copy, paste ass book. Manifest someone else's destiny in your shit and sell it. I couldn't believe her, bro. She tried to
nerve.
make it better by saying, DM me, we can make this right. No, it's
Boy.
already out.
so it's
You
done.
already made money.
It's done.
Terrible.
Now, here's my big one. Terry Crews.
Hold on. So this is your pick?
This is my pick.
All right.
Terry Crews, you are trash as fuck. I'm gonna ask you guys a general question. What the fuck is black supremacy?
If we had more time,
Anybody
I really
ever
want to
seen
delve
it?
into that, but we can't.
I was a little lost on that one.
First off, Gabrielle Union had your back when you talked about the guy from Hollywood grabbing on your bum, right? And then you turn around and you say you've never seen any racism. You didn't even take her back. First off, there's another definition of not protecting the black women because his job was more important, right? His job and his career was more important than protecting Gabrielle Union. He denied sexism and racism against Gabrielle Union. To follow up his stance, he said defeating white supremacy without the involvement of white people is black supremacy. My nigga, we don't go from supremacy to supremacy. We go from supremacy to equality. And maybe if we can get 66% of the population like they have, we can start black supremacy. Maybe we should go get Europeans
Maybe it'd be
from the
possible
UK.
then.
Maybe we should go get Europeans on boats and take their ass to Africa and beat them for 400 years and get free labor. And then turn around and not give them reparations.
There's something that he said in his interview to where it sounded like less of black supremacy over all the races, but more black supremacy
Over
amongst
black
black
people.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Oh.
what it sounded like.
Listen, that's exactly what he said.
Okay.
So not only are we not having black supremacy over white people, which would make total fucking sense if you're a black person, but he's worried about black supremacy over black people. So that would be like an NFL player dominating someone who's not an NFL player because of their finances. Terry Crews is talking out of his ass.
Yeah.
Out of his ass. He said he's not qualified to have the conversations because he's married to a white woman. No one gives a shit about that, Terry Crews. No one really cares about that. It's when you act like black people don't
That's
matter.
what you're saying.
Right.
Ain't nobody worried about who your wife
God
is.
damn. And my last honorable mention is all the people who wanted to start up the beef between J. Cole and No Name instead of finding solutions. There was no fucking reason to overreact like that. Let's have some time and some patience. We talking about being kind and loving each other, and this time, that is the example of what not the fuck to do. That shit is trash as fuck. That's all I got, man. I'm tired of these motherfuckers, bro.
Applause.
I wanted to go in on the Terry Crews topic.
Go
but
ahead, let's
we
talk
out of-
about it.
No,
No,
we
let's
out of
talk
time.
about it, bro.
We out of time. So we want to thank Kevin Coleman for coming in,
Thanks for having me.
aka Swag. Man, you gave us some very transparent and honest and unfiltered responses.
He did really good.
And we definitely want to make sure that we telling everybody, please, 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 YouTube, like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell,
The Reverb experiment.
Apple Podcast, subscribe, Spotify, follow, Google Podcast, Stitcher, whatever you're listening
BuzzFeed.
to.
Yeah.
Please subscribe, like, comment, and share. And for those that call themselves Reverb Nation, please help us grow.
Photo B will give you $1 when you subscribe.
Photo B
I didn't
will
agree
give
to
you
that.
$1.
I
Just
didn't see that in
message
the
him.
contract. Just make sure that's everything, all the stipulations are correct before you're saying that.
He's a paid participant.
D him the Cash App and he'll send it right over. All right, so we want to peace, love, and God bless everybody. We are praying for justice for all. Black Lives Matter. We are praying for Breonna Taylor, for justice for that, for George Floyd, for Rashard Brooks, for Ahmaud Arbery, for anybody that has suffered police brutality. And right now, got to get on board, man. Black is in.
Period.
And if
Black
you're not
has
with
always
it,
been in. Black is
always
been
in. But you know now that some of these companies is getting scared by sending all the money over because they know what's coming. So,
Period.
The reparations might be on the way, bro.
I knew it was something real when Aunt Jemima got canceled and Uncle Billy got canceled.
They started canceling black people.
Bruh. What they need to do is give them their money.
That's facts.
Facts.
The whole family.
The whole family.
Cash, bro. I told you what I tell you about the reparations. We should be getting reparations from our great grandfathers, grandfathers. Bro, we should be living in generational wealth at this point.
Facts.
We should be white Hasidic Jewish right now, Rich.
We should
Yep.
That's what we
Give
should
us the
ourselves.
money. So peace, love, everybody. God bless, and y'all have a good weekend.
Be easy.